Hello, if you're here, I'm going to be right there. I just have to put this in the video description here. And I'm also going to put a link to a spy pen that, if you want to look at it, does the voice recording. I don't think hers had video and voice. I think it was just simply a voice activated voice recorder spy pen. You know, and I was talking to somebody last night, and I thought, you know, she said she was someone. It was mentioned, whether through her friend or to her friend, that she had planned to put the voice recorder into the truck to maybe catch him, right? Having an affair. Can you imagine if she put that pen in there, right? And then goes to look for it at the end of the day or whenever, and then it's not there. And she's like, oh, I think I left a pen of mine in here yesterday. And he's like, oh, yeah, you know, so-and-so needed a pen at the job site, and he must have taken it. You have to get it back, right? It'd be crazy. Yeah. I'll put it in the video description. It's in the video description, but I'll put it in the chat, too, if you want to look at it. Okay, I'm just going to put now what we're talking about. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna just put that in there, and we're going to talk about what happened here today, right? Just one sec. I just want to just put this in the right. Sorry if my oh, and then just a quick side note. I know there was like a mini freak out today because YouTube apparently is having. It was on totally on their end. To go on the community post of mine, and you'll see. But apparently, for some of you, my channel was here, but all of my content was gone. And yeah, I admit that would be a freak out moment. It just so happened that when Scooter called me to tell me this, I was right in my dashboard, so I knew my channel was all good. Otherwise, like if I had been swimming like I was about half an hour after she called, I would have freaked out. I would have totally freaked out. I would have had to go up and not finish my swim. Anyway, I had a beautiful swim. It was very nice. Okay, let me just go over here. Just really quick, put this in, and then we're going to talk about some of the things that were new today. And we're going to hear about a tranquilizer dart cap found in the dryer. We're going to hear about activity outside the home, which was sporadic, and what that could mean. We're going to hear about Suzanne sunbathing and sending pictures to Jeffrey, and then Barry coming home and her not responding anymore. We're going to hear about trash dumps of Barry's, where he visited several places, locations, and dumped trash. We're going to hear about several changes of clothes Barry changed into, and what about his truck activity and all of that. Okay, so yeah, we're going to hear that. I know if you were with us last night, you know that on the first day we heard about an affair with someone she had a relationship with when she was young, because she's been with Barry since she was 17. So she was with this Jeff Libler. Before that, he's a married man with 6 children, and their relationship, depending on who you listen to, was somewhere between 1.5 years to 2 years. There was a stopping point when Jeffrey's daughter, something about pizza, checked her dad's phone and saw a message, and then alerted her uncle and older brothers about it. And apparently that seems to put a stop to it for a little bit, but then it picked up again, right? Okay. And we heard about fights, 80% of them over money. There were also sticking points where supposedly Barry worked too much. And it was the mountain biking club and the interest that apparently the paramour, Jeffrey, got Suzanne into. Okay, it's one of the things that they shared together. And we're going to talk about hot tub, chemicals, and different messages. So let me just come in here right now, and if I don't do this, then I forget to do it, and then I'm screwed. Okay. Now, the best thing would be that I've been on mute this whole time, but I'm sure I would have had a call by now if that was the case. So I'm just going to go into here and go into the live chat, and we'll talk about this. Okay, so hi to Recliner Detective Regina, Ranger Red, GB, Flower Girl Phillips, Sandra K, Kathy, Jennifer Bradford, Ruby Ann, Vanessa, Snow Remover, Regina I got, Nona May, Amy Celeste, Raven Spirit, Ruby Ann, Sue W, Janine R, Wendy, I got you right, Cindy L, Lindy Reby, First Last, hello there, Sunny, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lisa O, Nana Patty, Marissa Cart, Samara, Lovies, haven't seen you in a while, Lovies, Tina Osborne, good to see you. I feel like I'm missing Patricia Fassett. Let's see. Okay, all right, I'm just going to go. Hi, Tracy Thomas, how are you? I don't usually see you. I figure I'm going to come on a little earlier with these updates. I did, like I said, go swimming, and then, came home, took a shower. I had to cook zucchini, and so I'm here now. But let me, Carly, hello there. And let me just get this up here. Allie Cattails, you're listening in laundry. Listening in laundry. Susie B. Okay, so let me grab this these updates. Well, we're going to go through a few different updates just so that, because we have to play this game of telephone, because we can't. Somebody asked me today, where can I view this? Well, unfortunately, if you're not at the fairgrounds in Salida, you're not going to view it because it's not televised. So we have to get our information through a series of tweets from media reporters that are there. And like we saw yesterday with the gun to the head, and some of them reporting it as the gun to Suzanne's head, the correct version was Barry held the gun to his own head. So, yeah. Let me just get our stuff, but yeah, this is just crazy. I don't understand why we can't, listen, even on a replay, we can't. It's just, if they think that this is going to make things more confusing, because people are going to be reporting all kinds of misinformation. Live and learn, I guess. Okay. Okay. We go to this. Okay, so we're going to look at Lauren's Lauren is from Fox 21 News, Lauren Scharf. I'm going to look at her tweets first, okay? So let me go to her first tweets of the day. And then we'll go through some other media just so we get a clear picture. All right, so day 2, she says, of the Barry Morphew Preliminary Hearings about to begin in Chaffee County Court. We have all been seated. We're waiting on the judge and Barry Morphew. Then she says that Agent Harris said that Suzanne Morphew would use Find My iPhone app and track Barry Morphew. And he would sometimes put his phone on airplane mode to avoid this. So she was trying to find his phone using the Find My iPhone app. I guess to, along with the spy pen and the other things, to try to get him in some type of a relationship with someone else so she could biblically feel good about leaving him, be okay with it. Then her next one says March 10th, investigators told Barry Morphew a little more about Suzanne Morphew's affair. Barry asked investigators about missing money from the safe after the search warrant. So he's asking about missing money from the safe after the search warrant. So where's my money? He's accusing them of it, I guess. About 20 messages between Jeff Liebler and Suzanne Morphew were exchanged on April 22nd of 2020. Agent Harris is asking for his binder that has all the text messages to reference. These specific messages were not spoken about yesterday. Okay, so text messages between Jeff and Suzanne the morning of April 21st. The text messages said, I want to be with you. I can only be me with you. I love you. I need you. Okay, and the defense attorney Itan is now speaking about an interview with Barry Morphew and investigators in January, and she claims that Suzanne Morphew said on the spy pen that 80% of the arguments with Barry Morphew were about money. Itan brings up the argument that allegedly happened on May 6th, where Barry Morphew said, I'm not having an affair. I would never cheat on you. And then she apologized. She said the wrong judge. She said, I apologize. Judge Patrick Morphew. What does she do here? Hold on a minute. Oh, she said Judge Patrick Morphew instead of Judge Patrick Murphy was in the courtroom. So she apologized for that. Then, let's see, we have... Hold on, I'm trying to get back here. Okay, my apologies. Okay, all right. And then she said Barry Morphew sent messages to Suzanne Morphew saying, I promise you, you are wrong about all the crazy thoughts about me. Why would I want another? Only a fool would stray from an angel like you. On May 6th, the text message from Suzanne to Barry said, I'm done. I could care less about what you've been up to for years. We need to figure this out civilly. Okay, and the next thing is Attorney Itan is asking Agent Harris about what Miles Harvey had told investigators. Now, Miles Harvey is one of the daughter's boyfriends, about Barry Morphew and Suzanne Morphew's marriage not being perfect. Miles says he was a workaholic and wasn't home enough, didn't hear that Barry was physically abusive. On May 9th, Suzanne tells Liebler that she had a fine night, got pizza, looked at homes, and talked about Arizona. Suzanne Morphew continues to text Liebler a lot of the day. At 4:43 p.m., Suzanne tells Barry she'll be studying all afternoon and she has veggie stew on for dinner. On May 7th at 7:25 a.m., Suzanne messaged Liebler about how magical the last few days had been. Agent Harris is checking his binder to find the exact messages Ms. Itan is referring to. Ms. Itan says, we are going to move off the pizza. On to the next topic, I guess. On May 8th, Barry Morphew went and got pizza at Moonlight Pizza in Salida. While he was out, Suzanne sent a message to Jeff on LinkedIn saying he is gone for a bit. In April, Suzanne opened up an account with a Green Dot Bank card and Royal Compass Management. With Green Dot Bank and Royal Compass Management. Sorry, I didn't mean bank card. And the defense attorney Itan asked Agent Harris if he had looked into this, and he says he hadn't. The state is now asking Agent Harris more questions. Okay, so showing that Suzanne opened up a bank account, I guess. So that was secret from them that the state didn't know about. Attorney Itan wanted to speak about Suzanne Morphew's secret bank account. The state objects and says it's beyond the scope, and she is now explaining. The defense was very upset about this. They spoke to the judge, and then I don't even understand this this text, because I read these earlier. There's 4 asterisks, and then it says celeb jihad is a nude celebrity website with photos and videos brought to people daily by Islamic extremists, according to their website. What is that about? Let's see if we can expand that, because there's many comments to this to try to find out if she is what's going on. See, someone says, wait, what? I don't get it. What is this tweet saying? I'm also a little confused by this. What exactly does this mean? I get that he was looking at porn, but was this a specific type of porn? And who brings it to people daily? Someone said, what in tarnation? Man, this is publicity that never expected, but welcome with open arms, I'm sure. I think she means this is publicity they never expected. But okay, so let's see. So people are saying that's disgusting. Oh my gosh. What? Upset because they were unaware, I wonder. Wait, what? Islamic extremists didn't see this coming. Thank you, Judge, for overruling. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's some kind of a corn website. Okay, so now we have, the state is now asking Agent Harris about Barry's phone, and there was some deleted dating web history, such as Ashley Madison. So they're saying that he had an account on Ashley Madison. When this was said, Barry sat up in his chair like, crap, they found this? Maybe. Allegedly. This conversation was on November 6, 2020, it says. When Holly Wilson asked Barry about what the last thing he had said to Suzanne was before she went missing, Holly remembers him stumbling and hesitating. Agent Harris asked Holly Wilson about a conversation she had with Barry Morphew. Barry was accusing Suzanne of sleeping with a man in a basement in November. He allegedly told Holly, if I find him, I will shoot off his balls and shove them down his throat. Agent Harris says this text message is a significant step for Suzanne. According to Sheila, her best friend, Suzanne hadn't come out and said it until May 6th. The text message on May 6th that Suzanne sent Barry reads, I'm done. I could care less what you're up to and have been for years. We just need to figure this out civilly. Barry had deleted it, but investigators found it. Agent Harris described Jeff Libler as the opposite of Barry Morphew. He said Libler was very complimentary to Suzanne, and Harris said that Libler wanted to help support Suzanne get out on her own. Agent Harris is asked what Jeff Libler was doing around May 9th and 10th, and he was in Michigan working on a dock project. He went to a hardware store to buy supplies and checked with his credit card statement. Okay. And on May 11th, Jeff Libler texted Suzanne wishing her well wishes for her cancer treatment day. She also didn't respond, and that was allegedly Libler's last message to her, which is weird, right? Because then I guess he's going to say he found out she was missing. Isn't it weird, though, that if he found out she was missing, he still wouldn't send anything? But I guess he's probably thinking, if she's missing and they find the phone, crap, what? Kind of weird. On May 10th, Jeff had wished Suzanne a happy Mother's Day and knew it would be a hard day because she missed her mom, and Suzanne had never responded. Then they took a break, back again. Barry allegedly left around 1:30, makes a few calls, checks out a job at Kim's Gym in Salida, and then returned home at 2:44 p.m. On May 9th, 2020, the telematics of Barry's truck and phone were correlating with what Barry was saying. He went to Tailwind's property around 11 and then went home at around 11:30 to eat veggie soup with Suzanne. Looks like the next witness will be former FBI agent Johnny Grusing. Barry's preliminary hearing, this is the third witness to take the stand. When Barry got home, Suzanne was sunbathing and sending pictures of herself to Jeff Libler. Okay, at 2:11, Suzanne told Jeff to get on What's Up. I think they mean What's Up. What's Up? No, it's What's That. No, what is it? No, What's Up? Is it What's Up? It's not What's Up. What's Up app? No, it's not. It's What's At. Now I'm losing my mind. What's that? Not What's Up. Isn't it What's At? What's that? I don't know. You know which one I mean. Now I'm losing my mind. Nothing new. So get on What's Up. What's At? Jimmy, what is that? What's At? He can't hear me. I wish I had my phone here. What is that app? What's At, or what is that? What's Up? What's yeah, it's not What's Up.
No, it's What's At.
It's What's At. Yeah, okay. Okay. What's At? She messaged him on LinkedIn to get on What's At. Okay. Now, exit 59, a picture of Suzanne sunbathing is shown in the courtroom. She's smiling and laying on her front. It's a selfie. Her daughters, and Barry's daughters, are crying in the courtroom as they see this photo for the first time. Okay. Now, Barry Morphew's phone data tells Agent Grusing that Barry is moving around the Morphew home. And Barry allegedly confirmed this to Agent Grusing. This is May 9th, the day before Suzanne Morphew was reported missing. Agent Grusing asked what he was doing outside, and Barry Morphew responded, "I shoot chipmunks. I have shot 85 chipmunks." Who keeps track of 85 chipmunks? Agent Grusing mentions a tranquilizer dart cap found in the dryer. He also asked Barry about what gun he used. Barry said it was a .22. Barry's phone was turned onto airplane mode, and his truck doesn't have any movement from 2:44 until 4:44 p.m. on May 9th. So we're going to start keeping track of this, okay? Because the last time they know that Suzanne was alive, I believe it was the 2:11. around that time, okay, because she was sending Jeff Libler telling him to get on WhatsApp, and then Barry got home, and after that time, he has action going around the house, okay, and then his truck is there until 4:44, and then the truck door opens and closes, and at 9:25 p.m., the gear shift goes from park to reverse and moves backward in the driveway 95 feet at the Morphew home off of Puma Path in Maysville, Colorado. So that's important. So it's there. His truck doesn't move from 2:44 until 4:44. At 4:44, his truck door opens and closes. At 9:25 p.m., May 9th, the gear shift goes from park to reverse, and it moves backwards in the driveway 95 feet at the Morphew home off of Puma Path in Maysville. At 5:33 p.m., truck said power was removed and system reboot. At 10:17 p.m. on May 9th, Barry's phone is taken off of airplane mode, and it was at the home. At 3:25 a.m., Barry's truck doors were open and closed. The phone moved towards where the bike was found, according to Agent Grusing. Okay, so that's highly suspect, right? At 3:25 a.m., the doors are opening and closing, and then his phone is moving to where the bike was found. Well, what about the truck? Okay, at 4:31 a.m. on May 10th, the phone went into airplane mode. His phone came back online as he is heading towards Broomfield, Colorado around 5:37. Okay, that's when he's supposed to be going to the job and heading towards Buena Vista. On May 10th, Barry texted his mother, Shirley, Happy Mother's Day, before texting Suzanne at 6:10, you up? Happy Mother's Day, I love you. At 8:10 a.m., he stopped at an RTD bus stop in Broomfield off of Highway 36. Jimmy, can I ask you something hypothetically? Jimmy, can I ask you something hypothetically?
Who?
Yeah, I'm asking you something hypothetically. And let's say you killed me, right?
Right, I killed you.
Let's just say hypothetically you killed me.
Right.
Would you remember, especially if the next day was Mother's Day, to then send me a Mother's Day text so that you make sure to the police that it doesn't look suspicious? You'd probably forget the Mother's Day text. You would.
You never know. I have no idea.
I think you would.
Because you got you know my yeah.
I think you would. Yeah. I do think Jimmy would totally forget that because he wouldn't even cross his mind. Like he.
I would probably be a bad basket case, honey.
What?
I would be a basket case.
Oh, you'd be. Okay. So anyway, he says, you up, Happy Mother's Day, I love you. At 8:10 a.m., he stops at an RTD bus stop in Broomfield off of Highway 36. And that's trash run number 1. Barry, truck passengers and driver's door open, according to the data. It took him 2 minutes to throw something away that was a few feet away from the truck. The state has pulled up a Google image of the bus stop in Broomfield. When Barry allegedly arrives at the Holiday Inn Express in Broomfield, he parks on the south side. The doors open and close again. And it says he opened some, but I think it means he hoped someone would come in and out so he could get a free breakfast at the hotel. Now, do you think he has to wait for the back door to open and close so he can sneak in and get a free breakfast at the hotel? I mean, are things that tough? I don't think that's why he was there. Another Google image is being shown where Barry Morphew parked. Attorney Nielsen is asking for a copy of the image. The state is saying the images are in the discovery. The judge's secretary is running off to make a copy. Trash run number 3. At 9:12 a.m., Barry leaves the hotel. He goes up around the work site. He never parks. Then he goes to McDonald's in Broomfield. He throws items away here. He is seen pushing trash down into the trash can with both hands. And that is according to the surveillance video. See, didn't we say this last night? We said they probably might have him throwing away trash like Photos Doulos, and that's exactly what they have on him, right? Barry said that there were holes in the boots, but the laces were good, so he wanted to take them to the room and remove the laces and then trash the boots. Photos of this from the hotel surveillance video are being shown, so I guess they have video of him throwing away boots and him somehow explaining why he took the boots with the holes in them to the room and remove laces. Let me expand this a little bit to see if she has any more. Let's see. No, I don't see it. Okay, let's go back to this now. Okay, so Trash 1 was at the bus station. Trash Run 2 was at the hotel. Trash Run 3 was at McDonald's. Okay. And then it said when Barry first arrived to the hotel, he had another trash run. Barry said he did, but didn't remember what he threw away. And there's no video to be collected on the south side of the hotel. Agent Grusing asked Barry Morphew what he threw away, and he couldn't remember. He then went to a car wash and a Men's Warehouse parking lot. Trash run number 4, he spent the most time at this trash run, and it was at Men's Warehouse. He spent 40 minutes there. His trunk data opened and closed. I think she means his trunk data open. It must be doors open and closed. This is in Broomfield. Trash run number 5. The FBI has a video of Barry Morphew mentioned to investigators he had thrown away tranquilizer material. That is the only thing he would say that he threw away. What was the tranquilizer material used for? Hunting? What was that? Barry Morphew returned back to the hotel with a large notebook with papers that are messy. And then he left the hotel 20 minutes later with the notebook in hand, with the papers neat in hand. He also changed shirts into a gray t-shirt. Okay. How's Rocky? Oh, good. Barry went to the Broomfield wall and did 11 to 15 minutes of work. He removed blocks from the retaining wall. This job was for Garrett Construction. The company told Agent Grusing that the job would need a bobcat. Agent Grusing mentions that Barry Morphew as well as Garrett Construction knew that they couldn't work on Sunday in the city of Broomfield. At 12:06 p.m., Barry Morphew calls his daughter Mallory. At 3:30 p.m., he texts Suzanne Morphew to call him at 5:15 p.m. No, excuse me. At 3:30, he texted Suzanne. At 5:15, he got a call from Mr. Ritter. At 12:27 p.m., Barry is seen on her hotel surveillance moving 2 bags to a dumpster, throwing away a bag that you can see a camo coat and a tree container. And then Exhibit 50, a different angle of the surveillance camera showing Barry Morphew carrying the items to the dumpster. And then he is seen walking away with his hands in his pockets with his head down as he walks away from the dumpster. At 12:42 p.m. until 5:55 p.m., Barry does not leave his hotel room. This doesn't match the statements he gave investigators early in May. He claimed he had been working at the wall. At 5:55 p.m., Barry changes shirts again and leaves the hotel room. Agent Grusing said Barry wouldn't say what he did in the hotel room, but he mentioned watching Fox News and a basketball show. This story changed according to Agent Grusing early in May. He said he worked at the job site and in April amended his statement to watching Fox News. After 6 p.m., Barry takes multiple trips in and out of the hotel entrance, bringing in tools. He asked the front desk person if it would be okay to leave them for his workers who were coming later. These were hand tools. Okay, and they took a lunch break. Agent Johnny Grusing still on the stand. On May 8th at 9:28 a.m., Suzanne sends a text to her sister Melinda saying that Barry Morphew was abrasive and abusive. Agent Grusing spoke with Sheila about Suzanne Morphew's list, more examples of grievances, concerns about recovering from cancer with Barry, still in the picture, concerns about cameras in the garage, accusing Suzanne of a boyfriend. They spoke with Barry about this. Exhibit 56. This is a text message he had deleted off his phone from Suzanne. The text is May 6th at 10:13 a.m., and there were only 2 messages that were swiped deleted. Multiple calls between Suzanne and Barry were sent back and forth to each other. Friday morning at 10:55, Barry sent a text, "I love you, Suzanne." On May 8th, Suzanne sent a picture of Barry Morphew standing outside Moonlight Pizza, waiting for pizza for the girls. The girls are in Utah on a road trip. Between 8 to 9 p.m. on May 8th, Facebook codes were reset. I guess that means passwords, right? She friend requested 23 people in total, 20 were men. Investigators asked Barry if this was him, and he said no. But we know she was still alive, so okay. Suzanne sent messages to Sheila Oliver about her daughter's wedding the next day. On May 9th, text messages, 9:50. Barry Morphew, want to go on a hike? 9:52. Suzanne Morphew, where? Later on, there was no response after that. Asking about summer tires on the Range Rover. 10:36. Suzanne, want to meet to hike? 12 minutes later, Barry Morphew. At 10:48. No, coming home. Suzanne says, get hot tub stuff. Exhibit 60 is being shown. It's a Google map of where the helmet and bike were found versus where the house is on Puma Path. Suzanne's helmet was 50 feet from the road. Libler advised Suzanne to have contact info in the helmet in case of a crash. Okay, that was something, right? That Deb from the People's Team for Justice brought up. Why would a grown woman have her contact information in her helmet, like the way a child would? Now, interesting that maybe we thought, yeah, that Barry put it in there so they'd make sure they know it was hers, but it was actually Jeff that advised her to have the contact information in her helmet in case of a crash. And then the picture that they have is the last proof of life of Suzanne. Barry looked at the photo, allegedly told investigators that she looked drunk. He described her eyes as drunk eyes. It would take the edge off for the night. Barry left the home at 1:38 p.m. and he sent a message to Libler saying, guess who is alone again? Oh, excuse me. Let me read that again. Barry left the home at 1:38. Suzanne sent a message to Libler saying, guess who is alone again? At 2:03, the picture that she sent was her sunbathing, and that's the last picture of her, 2:03 p.m. on May 9th. Investigators' last interviews with Barry were April 5th and April 22nd. The judge has asked many times in court to keep masks on while inside the courtroom. Barry had to pull his mask above his nose. Okay, and then things on the computer that are too small to read. They're going over the Cellbrite reports extensively. The district attorney, Linda Stanley, has not questioned a witness today. Defense exhibits JKLM and IJKLM. Google Maps around the Morphew home off Puma Path in Maysville with push pins in them. Nielsen is speaking again about the distance between these points, referring to Barry Morphew's phone. Nielsen says this shows he had to be moving through walls. Okay. Drew Nielsen is now questioning Agent Grusing. They're looking at Barry Morphew's phone records, proving that Barry called Suzanne as he drove home from Broomfield and there was no answer. Agent Grusing said he is not too familiar with the program that the defense is sharing. He said this isn't why they use it. They use another program, and he knows why this program is, but not how to use the data. Defense exhibit, another copy of Cellbrite report. Nielsen is speaking about the precision value of this data. The state is objecting the foundation because the exhibit doesn't say whose phone the data came from or a number. The judge allows the exhibit, and if you're wondering, Agent Johnny Grusing is only the third witness for the prosecution that they've called to the stand. They were planning to call 8 for the first 2 days. Exhibit T is admitted. It's a copy of the Cellbrite Reader's Report with precision value, which Nielsen points out was info in the affidavit, but didn't have the precision values the defense would like to add. Exhibit T is admitted. It's a copy of the Cellbrite report. Okay. Shoot, that's exactly the same. She's got that twice. Okay. Let's see. She was having difficulty with her internet. Okay. She's trying to use an old phone. On page 6, Barry Morphew's truck stays in the same coordinates at 4:44 p.m. until 9:25 p.m. Parking light events on page 7 doesn't change the coordinate of the truck. 6 odometer events on May 9th, 3 odometer events, 10:04 a.m., 10:06 a.m., and are around the same of 2 parking light events. Defense exhibit GG lists of events comparing the door events to the light events of Barry Morphew's truck. There were 19 miles that were unaccounted for when Barry went to Broomfield. Nielsen said this Salida stove and spa trip could account for 18 miles. Barry had a convo with Janelle and Colton Nabal at the store, according to Nielsen. She is questioning Agent Grusing on his timeline on May 8th. Morphew sent a picture to Colton around 1:18 p.m. about getting his hot tub fixed, asking when he could come out to the home. According to an employee at the Salida Stove and Spa, Nielsen said from an interview with investigator Derek Graham that Barry Morphew visited on May 9th between 4 and 5:30 p.m., and that there was nothing unusual about his demeanor. Nielsen is going over his truck data again with Agent Grusing. Burla report from 3:25 a.m. to 3:49 a.m., total of 7 door events and 6 parking lot light events. Indoor lights are also considered as parking lights. Okay. At 2:45 p.m., Barry Morphew did something terrible to his wife and then went to get his hot tub fixed, Nielsen said. Agent Grusing responded, "I don't think their timing is accurate," referring to the Salida Stove and Spa. Agent Grusing's theory is that Barry Morphew did something to Suzanne Morphew when he got home on May 9th, chasing her around the home while she is conscious. The push-pin map that they presented said it isn't possible for him to move at 45 miles per hour, according to Nielsen. Also, Suzanne's phone made an outgoing call at 2:53 a.m. on May 10th. 2:53 a.m. on May 10th. That was half an hour before the door event occurred on Barry Morphew's truck. Now Nielsen is going over the phone data of Suzanne Morphew and Barry Morphew. According to the cast report, an incoming call at 12:02 a.m. and an outgoing call at 2:17 a.m. on May 9th. Barry doesn't have a call until a little after 6 a.m. At 6:56 a.m., sent 2 text messages to Suzanne Morphew. You up? And Happy Mother's Day, I love you. Do you not think there is time to dispose of a human body in that time? Nielsen asked. No, there is not, Agent Grusing replied. Barry said Barry's first interview with Commander Walker. Barry claimed on Sunday morning he set his alarm for 4:30 a.m. He had already loaded the truck the night before. He left the driveway around 5 a.m. Nielsen said the first May 9th event is 6:46 a.m. Start time airplane mode off. Event may have been triggered by something. According to the cast report, could be meaning that he is coming out of an area with poor service. Defense Exhibit FF, information about airplane mode that investigators showed to Barry Morphew. On March 5th, Agent Grusing showed Barry Morphew a list of times when he used airplane mode. And Nielsen is asking if GPS can still be tracked. He replied it can. Okay. The state has been objecting to many questions due to repetitiveness. The judge agrees. Nielsen continues. Verizon records show Barry Morphew's cell phone at 7:19 a.m. on May 9th received a signal. And Nielsen asked, can a phone receive a signal in airplane mode? And Grusing said, I don't know. Defense attorney Nielsen is poking holes in Agent Grusing's evidence when Barry Morphew put his cell phone on airplane mode on and off, which is mentioned in the sealed arrest affidavit. Nielsen asked to have a break for the day, but the judge said, nope, we must go on until 5 p.m. On Saturday, May 9th, his Bobcat was very active. The Bobcat, also called the skid steer, on page 41 in the affidavit, it states that Barry was not connected to Suzanne's disappearance. The Bobcat also was not connected to, so note the Bobcat was not involved. It says. And let's see. Now, she looks like she ends there without, I don't know, she was having a lot of technical issues and stuff. So there's just an abrupt ending that, I mean, hold on. Let's see. Yeah, that's quite an abrupt ending for her. But let's look at something else that I have, and that would be this right here. Law enforcement physically removed a module from Barry's car for telematics. It's located behind screen in dashboard of the F-350. Law enforcement had to open the dash to get it. Barry's car was seized on May 10th and didn't look like Barry had tampered with the dash. Barry's car was dusty and dirty. The dust was not disturbed. That's just something else in there. Okay, let me go to another report. Even though they got things wrong, let's see what. Okay. This one is, hold on. That's not the one I want. I want this one. Okay. So let's see what they say, the Denver Post. On the day Barry's wife was reported missing, he spent the morning throwing away items in trash bins. Hold on a minute. In trash bins at 5 locations near Broomfield, hours away from his Chaffee County home, said the FBI agent that testified. So we heard all of that. There's something else here. It's driving me crazy. This thing keeps... Morphew is accused. Okay. On Tuesday, Jonathan Grusing testified in detail about the data collected by software on Morphew's truck and by his cell phone records. Okay, we got all that. Why is this doing this? Hold on. Something keeps happening with this. Okay, here we go. In the first run, Morphew stopped at a gas station next to an RTD bus terminal. Oh my gosh, this thing is driving me crazy. And it's for about 90 seconds. His truck doors opened again and closed. Hold on. Let me just go to this one. It's driving me crazy. Hang on. I just keep having an issue with this thing. Oh, I see. Okay, hold on a sec. Aha, there we go. All right, sorry about that. Let me go. Don't want that. He went to the hotel, and before checking in, he's parked along the back next to the trash can where the truck doors opened and closed again. He left the hotel and threw away items in the trash. Okay. This is driving me insane. Okay, I can't follow this newscast because there's something whacked with their page. Sorry. Let's go to another one. I'm tired of playing games with it. Okay, let's go to this one. All right, so that's the first. We don't want the first, we want the second. I don't understand why this can't even be televised. This is like torture trying to get this stuff through these people. Okay. Well, where's the rest of this story? Okay, on the second day of Barry Morphew's hearing, investigators detailed data from his phone and truck to pinpoint his location on the day before and the day his wife Suzanne went missing. Suzanne went missing on Mother's Day in 2020. Her body has yet to be found. Morphew has been charged with killing her. We know Johnny Grusing worked at the FBI investigation office in Denver since September of 1996. He retired 2 weeks ago and has a background in terrorism, violent crime, behavioral analysis, and bodiless homicide cases. The data on Morphew's phone matched his truck's records. On May 9th, he went to a property in Tailwinds about 11 a.m. and went back home to eat lunch with Suzanne at 11:30 a.m. After leaving to check on a project, Morphew returned home and found Suzanne sunbathing. During that time, Suzanne was sending pictures of herself to Jeff Libler, a man with whom investigators say she was having an affair. She sent him a message and said, "Guess who's alone again?" at 2:03 p.m. As Suzanne's selfie was shown in open court, reporters noticed that Morphew's daughters were crying. Investigators say this was the last proof of life of Suzanne. Investigators say Morphew looked at the photo and told investigators she looked drunk. Morphew was moving around the house for the next couple of hours, according to his cell phone data, according to Grusing. He was shooting chipmunks in the backyard, is what he said. According to Grusing, this is roughly the time that Morphew may have done something to Suzanne. Grusing mentioned that there was a tranquilizer dart cap found in the Morphew's dryer. At 4:44 p.m., Morphew's truck door opened and closed. At 5:25 p.m., the gear shift went from park to reverse and moved backwards in the driveway 95 feet. You see, this is another discrepancy, because on Lauren Scharf's, she has the truck backing up at 9-something at night. You see? This is a game of telephone. It's ridiculous. Morphew's defense said he visited the Salida Stove and Spa between 4 and 5:30 p.m. that day, and he spoke with 2 employees at the store. At 10:17 p.m. on May 9th, Morphew's phone was taken off of airplane mode and it was home. At 2:53 a.m. on May 10th, there was an outgoing call on Suzanne's phone. At 3:25 a.m. on May 10th, Morphew's truck doors were opened and closed. The phone moved towards the location where the bike was found. At 4:31 a.m. May 10th, Morphew's phone went back into airplane mode. His phone came back online and he traveled towards Broomfield. Grusing pointed out the GPS can still be tracked even when a phone is on airplane mode. Around 5:37 a.m., Morphew was headed towards Buena Vista, driving through Johnson Village. Okay, Morphew texted his mother Happy Mother's Day before texting Suzanne at 6:10 a.m. Send you up. Happy Mother's Day, I love you. At 8:10 a.m., he stopped at an RTD bus stop in Broomfield off of Highway 36. His passenger doors opened, and according to the data, it took him 2 minutes to throw something away that was a few feet from his truck. Morphew then went to the Holiday Inn Express in Broomfield, where he made another trash run at 8:25 a.m. Morphew walked into the hotel and went to his room at 8:38 a.m. He carried multiple items into the room, including hiking boots, a teal-covered piece of clothing, a darker piece of clothing, and a light blue bag. Morphew texted Suzanne at 8:41 a.m. to tell her that he arrived in Broomfield. Morphew left the hotel at 9:21 a.m. and traveled to a work site but didn't park. He went to McDonald's nearby and threw away more items. Surveillance video shows that Morphew was pushing trash down into a trash can with both hands. According to reporters in the courtroom, Morphew did not visibly react when prosecutors showed surveillance photos of him putting items into multiple trash bins in the Broomfield area on the morning of May 10th. Morphew got his car washed and went to a Men's Warehouse parking lot for another trash run that lasts 40 minutes. The FBI has a video of a 5th trash run where Morphew said he threw away tranquilizer material. Morphew returned to the hotel room, changed shirts, and left for a construction site to do work on a retaining wall for about 15 minutes. Morphew called Suzanne at 11:20 a.m., got no answer. He called his daughter Mallory at 12:06 p.m. and texted Suzanne to call him at 3:30 p.m. At 12:27 p.m., Morphew was seen throwing away 2 bags into a dumpster on hotel surveillance. He walked away from the dumpster with his head down and his hands in his pockets. Morphew didn't leave his hotel room until 5:55 p.m. He initially told investigators in early May that he had been working on the retaining wall. Grusing mentioned Morphew's story changed when, accounting for what he was doing with his time on May 10th at 5:55 p.m., Morphew changed his shirt again and left the room. He took multiple trips in and out of the hotel entrance to bring in hand tools. And then it says court wrapped up for Tuesday. Now they're going to have a... it's not going to be until like not next week, it's the week after. Another 2 days. So that's it. Let me go to the live chat and see what you guys are saying. Can you find the freaking live chat? Oh, it reminds me, I never put the link for the spy pen in the chat. Oops. Come on. All right. So let's see. I'm going to see what's going on. I think he put her in that dumpster. In which dumpster? Which one? But wouldn't they have had, like, Photos Doulos, they had the surveillance photos immediately and they went in the garbage and got the stuff. I think they have what he threw away. And if they didn't, they would go to the landfill and look for it. So I don't think she's in there. Think back to Photos Doulos. I don't think so, Cranky. Think back to Photos Doulos. They never found Jennifer Doulos' body either, remember? They never found her body. It wasn't in any of the dumpsters. It wasn't in any of the trash bins. Why did he keep changing his shirt? Because it probably was dirty. Do you know the Photos Doulos case, Cranky? Because it's very, very similar. They caught, and we saw video of Photos and his mistress driving around a town, not where they lived, and probably a kind of a seedy section of town, and just getting out, both of them at different times, and throwing stuff in different trash receptacles. And one time a knife or something was found by a homeless man, and they got that, and then they got all the trash. So I'm sure these guys have the trash because they would have looked at this. They seized his truck on May 10th. That means they knew where he went. So they went in those trash receptacles. If they found her body, we would know it. They didn't find her body. Her body is not in any of those trash receptacles. Hey, Kevin Leonard. In Doulos' case, they found a large, would be a large amount of blood that she would not have survived. That was cleaned up, but they still found evidence of that, correct? But they also didn't recover any, they recovered what they did from the trash. It wasn't her body, though. I think it's the same thing in this. You know, we don't know all of what they have. The arrest affidavit is not completely unsealed. It's not unsealed, and we haven't heard everything yet. No blood or clothes. We don't know that, Kathy. We don't know what was in the trash receptacles. How do you know that? Tell me. We know they said no blood. How do you know her clothes or his? How do you know that? We don't know. Yes, I mentioned the blood in the garage. Well, it wasn't blood. It was a reaction because it was cleaned up. All those paper towels were used, remember? Oh no, I'm so sorry. Ruby Ann, you need to take something for that. Get to the emergency room or something. That's horrible. You need antibiotics. You could get blood poisoning. Go right to the emergency room. Hurry up. Okay, let's see here. Oh shoot, I forgot to do something. Let me do that right now. Maybe the blood. No, they've said they haven't found blood, but let me see. Hang on, I'm just trying to fix something to make it easier for everybody there. Okay. All right, let me see. Hi, Robert Bob. Prosecution says they still have witnesses to call. Only 3 have been called correct. There's supposed to be 5 more correct. He believes those 3 are the meat and potatoes for the hearing, but would still like to call other witnesses. Hi, Dina Jen. I'm sure they have searched the lakes, and yes, they've used drones, they've used all kinds of search tools and personnel and everything. I think he did something gruesome to her body and spread her body. But, okay, here's another thing. Okay, you might think, oh, he was bringing in tools to the hotel. He couldn't have dismembered her body in this hotel. There would be a large amount of blood. Now, he could have done something in the woods. He is an expert hunter, right? He knows how to dress animals, okay? And I don't mean putting clothes on them. Field dressing and stuff like that. I'm sure he knows how to butcher animals and all of that stuff, okay? So did he take a huge tarp and go out in the woods and do this? His clothes would be bloody, but, I don't know what he did, okay? But the blood was not found in the hotel room. It wasn't found in the house. It wasn't found in his cars. There was a camo jacket thrown away in a tree container. What is a tree container? He knows how to shoot chipmunks. What was said about the creek? I didn't hear anything about the creek behind Barry's house at all. I think he did do something gruesome during the night. He also knew probably where to leave her body for the animals to get her. Well, I mean, what's in the trash, you know? In the bag that he threw away. But if they had blood there, they said they don't have blood. Unless they're not letting that out yet. But they said they didn't have blood. So, right, said there was a camo jacket, yes. I'm asking, what is a tree container? Bury her under a tree he planted. Well, is that what it is? That's what I'm asking. Is a tree container a big... Did he plant a tree somewhere on a job site? That sounds plausible if he was planting trees on a job site. Wait, is that what the tree container is? Does anyone know? Oh, thanks, Michelle. Is it the bucket planter for the tree? Is that what it is? Okay, I'm going to open up the phone lines. Deb, if you'd like to come on, and anyone else, I'll put the number in Slack, and anyone that's not in Slack can email me for the number. I'll send you the number, Deb, through Facebook Messenger if you want to come on. I'd like to hear if you know more about this tree container. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm going to put it in Slack as well, and okay, tree container. Did they dig around at the construction site? They were at construction sites. I remember that. People early on, people thought they were going. One where he did a lot of concrete work. They were there. Honey. Yeah. I feel like my lips are biting my lips. Hi, LMNW. Yeah, Ruby Ann, that's terrible pain to have. You really need to go to someone immediately, but worse yet, abscesses that burst like that, you know, it's very, you have to go. You have to go. You're not even going to be able to rest with pain like that. You can't. You need an antibiotic. You could have something very serious happen. I am trying to scare you so you go because it's true. Please go. Only know what they reported. I don't know enough to get on panel. Yeah. Anyone know how the closest neighbor? They're not close. We can look at we can bring that up. Remember the gentleman that came on that was the husband of the realtor that sold them the home and also the realtor that sold the home? Remember he came on a while ago? Hold on, somebody's sending me something. Let me look at something. Okay. Here's the home. Put it over here. Oh boy, what's going on? John Zillow, where's the home? Hold on a sec, just moved it back. What the heck just happened? Okay, here we go. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's their home. It's sold now, okay. Here's the garage. There's firewood over here. You see that they do not have any close neighbors. This is probably where she was sunbathing. Lots of woods. Here's the little brook or creek, if you will, in the back. So yeah, now supposedly that these animals were here from the previous owners, according to that gentleman that was here. It's a relatively small kitchen for a house of that size. You know what? Yeah, it's very strange, right? Isn't that the house of that size? And just look at the space like around the table is very cramped. Very strange. And this looks kind of strange, doesn't this? Like little, I don't know, that looks kind of weird, like there was supposed to be something there, or it looks a little strange. That looks like, this looks like in the basement, doesn't it? Hold on. Let's see who's here. Who's here? Who's here? Let me see who's here. I don't see anybody's here. Who's here? Who left? Somebody was here and they left. Come back. Okay, so yeah. I don't know who was here, but you need to come back. Oh, here we go. Hello, Deb. Yeah, it is very desolate, Jennifer Bradford. Hi, Deb. Hello, Deb. Deb, can you hear me? I don't think she can hear me. Deb? Well, Deb, Julianne, what's Julianne saying? Julianne, these are pictures from the house was sold, so I'm sure it was all staged like that. We don't know if that's the way she had it, you know. I'm sure they staged it. Deb, can you hear?
Hi guys, yes,
Oh,
I
there
can
you.
hear you.
Okay, good.
So sorry, I don't have a laptop to use to see if I'm connected or not because the kids are back to school and they're using my laptop. So.
Oh, they back to school already. Okay. So what? So you say this tree bucket is from planting a tree?
Yeah, I asked around and that's the feedback that I got back. The consensus is that, it's just a planter pot to a tree. But I mean, how to confirm it, I don't know, but that's an interesting term to call it a tree bucket. I've never
Yeah.
heard of that, tree bucket. That may be a tree planter.
Did he
But you know,
plant?
that
Did he
kind of,
plant a tree?
well, we learned that they went back to the property and started looking around at not only his property where he had planted new trees, but maybe the area where he was doing construction.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they did some cadaver dogs and things like that around trees. And so it's interesting that we're hearing about a tree bucket now. So there wasn't any evidence that he planted a tree or that there was a body underneath the tree on his property. But that doesn't mean that hypothetically he could have buried her body and planted a tree over it in the middle of nowhere, in the woods over
Right.
there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
But that's interesting. I mean, and the 5 stops at the dumpster. Okay, you're in Colorado. It's, you work in construction. Of course, the truck could probably get, full of junk. But we're moms and our kids get full of junk. And, we have to go to appointments and things like that, have friends in the car. We don't stop 5 times to go to a dumpster on our way to a destination and then get to the destination and do a couple more dumps.
Mm-hmm.
That just seems out of character, just a bit of a red flag, don't you think?
Yeah,
And
and yeah, and what about the hiking? So he brought hiking boots into a hotel and then removed the shoelaces and threw those away. It's sounding like.
yeah, why take boots with holes in them that you don't want to use after you've been to the dumpster so many times up to the room, carry them up, probably dirty, remove the shoelaces, keep the shoelaces. What are shoelaces? You go to Dollar Tree, you get a whole
Could
pack of them for $1, and then take the time to carry them down and then dump them.
could he have strangled her? Could he have strangled her with the shoelaces?
Oh no, I think that he might have. I would say before I would go to that, I would think maybe he was wearing the boots in an act of something he doesn't want anyone to know about that might have evidence on it. And so he got rid of the boots. The law enforcement could say, where's the shoelaces? But he could present any shoelace. So it just sounds like a very fishy story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I'm sure they recovered this stuff. So it, if the boots really didn't have shoelaces in them, was it that he didn't have shoelaces in them at all in order to get them on and off really quickly?
It sounded like he took them all the way up to the room.
I know that's what it sounded like, but I'm just interested, like, because like with Photos Doulos, they recovered all the stuff from the garbage.
Yeah, I think he didn't realize that they busted him, saw him dumping a camel jacket and boots.
Right.
And his quick, thinking was to say, oh, I wanted the shoelaces. I wanted to salvage the shoelaces and dump the shoes, which was a stupid, response. I mean, that camel jacket is kind of creepy too.
But what's so weird though? How would that not have? Okay. I feel like maybe he did strangle her. There was no blood, because everybody's getting the thing that the tools and dismemberment and all this stuff, right? And if he did something like that, there would be a large amount of blood somewhere. And even if he did it out in the woods, he would have blood spatter on his clothing, right? So I think we have to get away from any bloody stuff.
Yes.
That he didn't do anything bloody.
Yeah, and kind of pay attention to what we heard today, where they brought up a tranquilizer cap being found in the dryer, and his cell phone pinging in multiple areas around the property at the time, when Suzanne was sunbathing and sending that message to Jeff. You kind of can read into where this is going in that, and I think they actually even went in and said they think he shot her with the tranquilizer gun and chased her, and that's why you have the cell phone pinging. Well, I don't know. He ends up dumping a camo jacket and boots. I'm saying and I'm not going to get into the cell phone pinging right now, but that's not making sense. So far as the triangulation or the timing, the pins, but perhaps he was on the property. I mean, the cell phone pings does have him in an area nearby earlier in the woods. Maybe he was wearing the camo jacket and the boots, stalking her while she's sunbathing, trying to get close enough to get an earshot of what she's saying, trying to get close enough to see what she's doing, trying to get close enough to, as they presented today, perhaps shoot her with the tranquilizer gun, and then, going back and forth. I didn't get the whole chasing her. I don't know why they brought that unless they had more evidence. But my point is you can kind of see where they're taking this theory. It's, information that's, should it go to trial, will be arguments, for them to cross-examine and, to prove. So be cross-examined.
Now, the tranquilizer darts, is that common in hunting out there?
Apparently it is common, and I'm not sure. I tried to Google what the cap looks like. It's very interesting, but from what I understand, they also traveled abroad and they did, even within the United States, bear hunting, and he was really big into that. And apparently the tranquilizer system is easily something that can be bought online. To me, I couldn't believe that just an everyday person could have a tranquilizer gun. Like, what is the tranquilizer? Where do they get the tranquilizer? How do you get a prescription for the tranquilizer? Isn't that controlled? I didn't get answers for that, but I find it really interesting that if it is common, new to me, probably is. I mean, I'm not surprised, but interesting how, what do you put in the tranquilizer? Where do you get that? So I don't believe that he's denied having a tranquilizer. His attorneys didn't say that. What are you talking about, tranquilizer cap? He doesn't own a tranquilizer gun. So you didn't hear them say that today, or yet, perhaps.
And they didn't ask what he used that. What was it from? Where did he use that up? That he threw it away? What did he use it on?
Yeah, that's all for, if this goes to trial. They're just presenting this, and hopefully the judge will say this is enough to go to trial and all of that. But so I'm not sure about a shoelace, but maybe because he took the time to speak about a shoelace, you shoot someone with a tranquilizer gun, trace them around, I guess, as per prosecution, and then once you get close enough, strangle them, perhaps with the shoelace.
Somebody was saying even tie them up, and then Jennifer said, what if he tranquilized her and buried her alive?
That would be horrible.
It would be horrible. But she's saying that then she wouldn't be, there wouldn't be decomposition, above the ground.
Yeah, exactly. That's so gross. But how did it happen? Was it the egg or the chicken with the tree pot or the tree bucket? Because it's interesting. Did they get that CCT coverage, video coverage that saw him dumping the tree bucket? And is that then why they went back to the property and investigated where trees were planted and all of that? Or
but
was
what I just thought about something. Remember Photos Doulos?
Yeah.
Okay. He had a hunting camp, and when they were going to kill Kent Mawhinney's wife, and they had a grave already dug with lime in it, it's very possible they could have had that hole dug for the tree with lime in it, lots of it, and planted a tree. They could have planted a tree anywhere. Yeah. Absolutely anywhere. Didn't have to be, it probably would never be on a property that he was working on, because that would be too easy. I'm sure he knows that they would look immediately at his construction sites.
Yeah, and this creeps me out because I was a part of the search team, and we came across a very suspicious site. I won't get into it now. But do you remember earlier reports about chlorine smell in the room?
Yes.
Lime could be a product that you put on a body to speed up decomposition, but
Right.
chlorine on a body would preserve it, but it would keep the animals away. And so one thing is during the searches, in certain cases, if you thought you saw something suspicious, the team leader might say, oh, well, if a body was there, the animals would have dug that up. They can go 25 feet deep and they'll dig, a carcass remains that deep, but not if it's covered in, chlorine, because it's caustic. An animal's not going to go near, they're not going to dig it up. So yes, he could have buried her, put a tree over it, or buried her and used chlorine to disguise, to keep the animals away. I don't know. It's, trying to take bits and pieces of what we've learned earlier and then what we're hearing now. It's hard to wrap your brain around it. It's insane. And what is he doing on Mother's Day, dumping at a dumpster a bunch of times, going to a hotel, working on a Sunday where you're not even allowed to do construction on Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
None of this stuff adds up. What it kind of says to me is, wasn't planned out very well. Was this last minute planning, panic, or was this a coordinated thing? She, a couple of days before all this went down, she had said to him, hey, let's just try to get through this amicably. I don't care about you, the past, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do anything, but she's done. Remember, she said how she was done.
Yeah, she's done, right?
So he was bracing himself for this breakup. And he went through, we spoke about last night, emotions where he was pulling the, the suicidal thoughts or the suicidal tendencies. He was giving her, once again, saying, if you leave, then I'm going to meet the Lord, or I don't know what it was. What was that?
Yeah, I was something like, I will do that, and I'll meet the
Prejudice.
Lord. I'll meet, yeah. But then again, it isn't, I don't know what religion they were, but usually it's, they believe suicide is a sin. So, most, right? I don't know, the Catholics do. I don't know what religion they were, but I wonder.
Yeah, for me, in my mind, and psychologically thinking about perhaps his mind frame, I don't think he was ever thinking and ever thought or wanted to kill himself. I think he was saying that to make him feel guilty, but really in his mind, it was his way of flipping it. Instead of saying, I'm going to kill you, and right now, the present is a grain of sand, and life thereafter is an eternity.
Mm-hmm.
He was probably thinking of killing her.
But what's so funny? What's really ironic and crazy is that both of them talk about biblical things, right? Yet she was having an affair, and if he killed her, he killed her, which
goes to hell, and he kills himself.
Yeah,
he goes to hell.
Right? So, he's worried about what people think and, being biblical and not wanting to get a divorce, but then killing someone's okay?
Right.
I don't know. That's just weird.
Yeah. It wasn't a matter of, it means so much to him to follow the Bible and to stay together. It wasn't a parent. It was, like you said last night, if he can't have her, no one will.
And Ashley Madison, the site there, right? That's not biblical.
No, that's not. That's married people having affairs.
Right. So, that's what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
okay.
so much hypocrisy.
Yeah. It's just not looking good for him, but at the same time, it's, how is the prosecution going to prove these things? What?
That's what I mean. They have to have some really good stuff out of that trash. If they don't, I don't know what they're going to do.
But Carolyn, you seem to think that they were able to retrieve things from the trash. I don't believe they have retrieved anything from the trash because they didn't get
I don't think
the
they got into it,
information.
but I think yes, I think they did because, look, they got his truck on the 10th. So that means they know where his truck was. And they would immediately follow it to those locations and get the CCTV and see him dumping in the trash. They have him on, we know they have him on surveillance pushing down the garbage. So that means they don't keep that stuff around long, especially at a McDonald's.
I mean,
So
kudos to law enforcement sending out people to go check those dumpsters immediately upon that.
that's exactly what happened with Photos Doulos. They got it right away. They went to and they went to every receptacle, and even one receptacle had already been picked up, and they went to the landfill. And then they tracked down a homeless man that took something out of the trash, which was, I think it was a knife or something. And they actually found the homeless man that had it.
Wow.
So, yeah, I think 100% they have the stuff in the trash.
Okay. Yeah, so he might have been watching, what was it, Dateline, or listening to Dateline on the radio, or 48 Hours, or whatever it is, or perhaps listening in on the cases that were going on in Colorado at the time, Casey Anthony and all of the other, Chris Watts. But he might not have been paying attention, and he might have gotten some tips from those cases, but he wasn't paying attention to the Doulos case because he would have known better to do the whole dumpster thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Because he seems to have, if this is indeed what he's done, he seems to have done pretty well in such a short period of time if he hasn't planned this. If this was a situation where she said a few days before she's leaving him, he's very suspicious. How could she leave me? She's just going through cancer. Where's she going to go? I told her she won't have anything. She'll have no money. She'll have nothing to her name. How could she still be so adamant to leave me? Stalking her, spying on her, and then catches her a bit in the act, taking selfies in a bikini. He realizes, finds out, I don't believe he found out who it was, because then we might have, maybe he did. We would have, like Jeff said, he would have gone after him.
Right, but wouldn't Jeff, okay, if he did
I don't
say,
want to digress.
yeah, I know, but you think Jeff would be scared for his life?
Jeff is scared for his life. But what's interesting is another point to, I don't think that he knew exactly who. He knew it was someone. Either she told him it was someone, but she wouldn't name the person, or he found out, saw her doing the selfies, caught her in the act, and everything went down. But he didn't know exactly who it was, because what's interesting is later that night on her Facebook, suddenly,
Oh, yeah.
apparently she wasn't alive at the time, she's befriending all these friends from her past.
Right.
And it might seem in an effort for him to try and fish out who might be, hey, oh, you're friending me. We've been talking here, trying to, seems like he was fishing.
Mm-hmm. And change the passwords too. And then the other thing was that he accused her of having sex in a basement. Could that have been her father's basement in Florida?
I didn't get that whole thing. I don't know what that was. And was there a basement at the party when? Just know that would go back.
But no, her father wouldn't. Wait, it can't be that, because they don't have basements in Florida, so it won't be that. Yeah, would it be their basement that he thought they had sex? I don't know.
It's just weird, because then she made a comment in one of her 50s lists about, the cameras that he has in the garage. He got cameras in the. I didn't get the basement thing. Does anyone else out there, does that make sense to you about him saying that? Maybe that's just something on the inside that is between them.
I think it was then, Jennifer, but she was still alive then. Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. They're really going to have to narrow down that cell phone pinging and explain.
But see, they have so much more. This is just the preliminary hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying. I think they have all of that trash. Everything he dumped.
That would be good. So what about the whole thing where they said that they thought he had, not they thought, but they said he had disabled the vehicle so that the computer could reset.
Oh yeah, like disabled the
But when,
power, right? Right.
yeah, remember I needed to ask Jimmy, like, how does that work? Because they said his car was dusty and there was no evidence of him pulling the front panel off to get to that one piece. They pulled out the picture of that piece that I sent you.
Mm-hmm.
But is it possible that he could have gone about something similar by messing with the fuse box, disconnecting, all the fuses, or disconnecting the battery and the alternator because there's still a little bit of power in the alternator?
Right,
Would
but
that
what?
reset the? What did Jimmy say?
But why would they? It still like if he was going to do that, wouldn't he have done it for everything? Like, why would he have let it record? Reversing in the driveway and like some of it, and by the bike, dropping off the bike. Why would he let it do all that? Like,
Yeah,
I don't understand.
why exactly? Why did they allude to that happening? But then the next day, when he's dumping things, he lets it be.
Right? Maybe he. I don't know.
Maybe,
I don't,
maybe because he had dumped the body the night before, and that's the main thing. And the rest, he doesn't realize that it's going to track to the detail that it does. I mean, your car opening. Did anybody know that your car tracks that? I don't. I've never heard of that, but
what about the
he
tranquilizer?
didn't realize the detail that the computer could get. But in case there was a GPS, he disconnected the vehicle so it would reset, not have that programmed. But then the next day it was, he's just he's on his way to the hotel. And so what if he's stopping and cleaning out his car? Or maybe he doesn't think
Allie
that that's,
Cattail says, what about the big game tranquilizer? Then use a big game cooler. And maybe he prearranged something at the RTD transit station. But wouldn't they have seen him with a big game cooler, Allie Cattails?
that's a good question.
That's quite a big thing for a big, I mean, that must be huge.
Hmm.
Oh, and then the bike helmet, right? Isn't that funny that it was Libler, whatever, Jeff, that told her to put her name and stuff in there?
That's great advice. So I heard today, I learned from some folks that that's a pretty standard thing in Colorado. People are biking, mountain biking,
Mm-hmm.
that in case anything happens, you don't carry your credit card or ID with you for fear of losing it. That's how, if anything happens to you, if someone comes upon you, they can get medical assistance and notify someone. So it's pretty standard, but that was really
Yeah, right. It looked like it was something that he would have done to have them know, oh, this is her helmet or something, right?
yeah, it was just to me, not realizing to us that just was weird.
But I think they got the cameras from there, Allie. I think they did. I don't know. Did they get camera footage from the bus station?
Yeah, so who stops at a bus stop to dump stuff in the trash?
Well, look at Letitia Stauk. She went, wasn't it her that went to the airport? Wait, did she go? She did. Wait, hold on. Who did it in the airport? No, it was probably Chris Watts that dropped stuff at the airport when he went to get his dad, I betcha. I think that's what we thought there.
Yeah.
So an airport or a bus station is probably a really good place to dump trash.
Actually, yeah, because it's random people. Huh?
Yeah, random people, and they probably take it out all the time. And,
That's a good point.
yeah, Letitia also went to an airport to pick up her husband.
I'm so upset about that Gannon case because, so like Doulos, you said that they were onto them with the dumpsters, very on them with the dumpsters. But with Gannon, they weren't onto her. How did she be able to go back to where she dumped Gannon, pick him up, put him in the car, and leave the state?
Yeah, and get him to Florida somehow, right?
Why weren't they watching him?
I don't know. That's
someone?
That's really weird. I know.
We assumed that she was being watched. It makes true crime folks think, well, if they're not watching them, then we're going to go sit out and watch them and document. Not saying me or you, but people who are concerned, advocates or what have you, can't rely on law enforcement to monitor, assess that. Don't be surprised if you're going to have folks out there.
That is weird that she was able to, unless, it's very odd. Really odd. We still don't know on T right now. We don't know everything there. And when is that going to start resuming?
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Right? That's been a long time.
The whole she's going to represent herself.
Yeah, now she's not. That would have been something if she represented herself. Oh my gosh. But I don't know. So, and now we have to wait another, till was it 23rd, 24th of August before they have the next 2 days?
Yes, and how are they going to catch up? I mean, that's on the judge to figure out, because so far, the defense has an extra hour more than the prosecution. He's going to need to even that out.
Mm-hmm.
With Patrick Frazie's trial, the Kelsey Barrett case, Judge Sells was very, very good at keeping everybody on their time schedule and making sure that, it was fair.
Mm-hmm.
So, interesting that the defense has more airtime so far and things are running behind, but I don't know about you, but in my opinion, it kind of seems like the more the defense is on, the more they're kind of opening their mouth and inserting their foot. That whole stuff that later we'll learn about with cell phone pinging and trying to, trip up the investigator using a completely different program through CAS didn't get them anywhere. Or did it? What do your folks think? Did they find any weight to that information today, to the phone and the supposed that he was chasing her?
Yeah, and what about the shooting chipmunks and
chipmunk scouting an old shot turkey somewhere, which makes me think, well, he must have been in his camo clothes. He's out looking for a dead turkey, and then he's at the house, probably hiding in bushes, stalking her.
And when what's his name? Oh gosh, what the heck is his name? Daybell was saying that he was shooting something too and burying it in the pet cemetery. Remember?
Yeah.
He was shooting a raccoon or something.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and that was his thing. That's what he was doing. He shot that in the day, and then he texted his wife. Then he buried it in the pet cemetery.
Yes, and chipmunks here are so cute.
They're cute here too. Yeah, I know. They're tiny. I mean, I can't even imagine shooting a chipmunk.
How is a chipmunk a pest? What do? They just collect little nuts around your house, right?
Well, they could eat flowers and stuff, but you know what I mean? I wouldn't shoot them, but 85 of them, he counted 85 chipmunks.
Yeah, it seems excessive.
Really, yeah. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, the same kind of thing, shooting at an animal. And I'm surprised, maybe he did say he buried the chipmunks somewhere. What did he do with them? Did he just haul them off into the woods? Did he put them and bury them? Did he burn them? What did he do?
Probably put them in a dumpster.
Did they check that was there was any truth to that? I mean,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
And why'd they ask him what kind of gun he used? A 22,
Yeah, exactly. Tranquilizer gun. They're on him. They're all over him. It's interesting to see how any of this is going to stick. Do you guys think so far that they're going to go forward with trial, or do you see that there's a chance it's not getting anywhere?
I don't know, but you know what the weird thing is? The tranquilizer dart cap was in the dryer, but he never got back in the house. Remember? After.
I don't know. Did he not do a load of laundry? He was packing and loading up his car.
Well, yeah, I mean, he would have had to done something then. But you think if he did laundry, they didn't find any, obviously, blood on there. But yeah.
Something blood to speak of.
No. So yeah,
So
the tranquilizer dart, yeah, could have been in the dryer, but
I think, yeah, I don't know if it's the thing that's connected to the dart. So when it lands, it's the stick with this fuzzy little tip at the bottom, tip or end at the bottom. But then there's a cap you got to pull off when you load it into the gun. And I was looking online and I saw, you know, this tiny little peg of a cap that you put over the top of it. That's over the top of it, and I think you load the chemical or the medicine. I think that's what it was, a tiny little piece of plastic he might have just stuck in his pocket
mm-hmm.
and then maybe searched his pocket and thought, oh, I dropped it somewhere. Or he didn't realize it was in his pocket, or he just simply forgot, washed the clothes that came out in the wash. Who knows? But it was in there, and why was it in there? He hasn't been bear hunting, or has he? Did they ask him? He said he kind of alluded to turkey hunting with Mallory some days before, but you don't hunt turkey.
I mean, people hunt turkeys here and they don't use tranquilizer guns, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. So why is there?
Let me just see something. Well, I want to just look up something. What kind of animals do you use?
Bear, bobcats, mountain lions, deer. I think he has a deer farm. Did he have a deer farm?
Okay, so let's see. Why don't people hunt with tranquilizers? Tranquilizers, guns are not weapons. There are air guns modified to be drug delivery systems for animals. Rhino hunters can capture their trophies. Tranquilizers, guns used in wildlife damage control. Immobilization. Here are 7 hunters. A thrill without a kill. Shooting with dart guns. Okay, so there's some now they're saying that these people are using tranquilizer guns to get the thrill of hunting something and not killing the animal. And I guess with a dart gun, a hunter must spot and stalk within close range to get a clean shot. After a kill, in quotes, they can examine, measure, and age the animal, so the hunt provides a benefit to wildlife science. The hunt would end not with a photograph of a rich guy standing next to a carcass, but with the animal walking off into the wild. Okay. The reason, let's see, of the...
Did he have a deer farm? I heard that he had a deer ranch. So maybe he used it for that, if he indeed did have a deer ranch. And that would make sense.
But what was he? But why would he? But why would he use a tranquilizer gun?
Right, because he's not a scientist. And in his house, the photos weren't there, like animal stuffing heads, like taxidermy.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not, drugging them or, and letting them go. He seems to be keeping them as trophies. I don't know. We don't know yet why he has a tranquilizer gun, but
yeah.
First of all, why is the cap in the dryer then? What was he doing?
Right. So that makes it sound like he was shooting. He took the cap off, stuck it in his pocket, did his laundry, and didn't realize it might have went into where the lint is.
Yeah.
Could have gone in there.
I'm thinking he was stalking her after she told him she was done. He somehow might have been scoping out the area, or he walked up, or...
Yeah, maybe he didn't want her to scream. Maybe he could have done it while she was sunbathing.
Yeah.
Maybe just be to immobilize her and not make her scream.
Yeah, hiding in the bushes with his camo jacket on and his boots.
Yeah, and the other thing is, okay, if he used a tranquilizer gun, she would technically be alive when he took her off of the property.
Yeah, so he would have had to...
So there would be no decomposition and to worry about, and then maybe he just took her off the property that way.
Very smart. Yep. Very good point. And I don't believe if he did do something to her that she's far from the home. In my opinion, she'll be very close. He would have had to done it all before he left to go to the site in the hotel. What was that? I don't remember.
The Holiday Inn?
Yeah. Where was that at? That was
Oh, what the heck did they say? It's
close to Denver.
I'm trying to think of the name. I just read it here. Oh, with a B, isn't it?
Yeah, it's with the B.
Bloomsbury? No.
On my phone. But at the end of the day, he's not even allowed to do construction work on a Sunday, on a weekend. So his whole plan to go down there and his wrangling of his team to say, everybody get down here, we've got to do this thing. Come on down, get down here, get up here, whatever it is. It was not even allowed to, he's not even allowed to be doing work on that day. So that tells us that was a last minute, pull it out of his butt, get me away from the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Distance himself from the crime situation.
Yeah, and
a hotel room. And a shovel and a rake to build a wall. A shovel I can understand, but a rake. But that's going too deep. But
I don't think she's anywhere where I don't think he'd be that stupid to just put her somewhere he's doing work. Because I think he'd know that they're going to go look. And didn't they look extensively where he did a concrete job and stuff early on?
I believe they did. And, I think that you actually just a second ago called it like, if it happened, this is how it happened. He tranquilized her so that he could move her. There's no scent of decomposition in his car, in the house, on the property. Took her somewhere remote and did it that way. Got rid of the boots, got rid of the camel jacket, because that would have had the decomp on it. Washed his clothes, forgot about the tranquilizer cap, but there's no trace of, decomposition.
Right, and then someone said even if worse, if he buried her alive, that's like horrendous. But, hopefully, he wouldn't do something that nuts.
It would be easier for him to do, just bury her while she's sleeping instead of having to do something gruesome.
Yeah.
Who knows, but.
And he could have just thrown, he probably had a lot of tarps around and stuff. He could have just taken her in a tarp. But what they say that, but see that, okay, here's the other thing. They have his truck though going to where the bike was.
Exactly. Isn't that creepy? But if she's not dead in his car, he doesn't have to worry about any of that. What's interesting, though, is what you guys were talking about last night is, if she was incapacitated, she could have urinated, defecated, vomited, what have you, and that evidence would be left behind. And you said tonight that when you were reading transcripts or the reports, that he had his car cleaned on his way to getting to.
He went to the men's warehouse and to the car wash over there. So that was, yeah.
He cleaned his car. Maybe, there was something inside the car. Obviously not decomposition, not blood, because, or maybe he cleaned it up, but they didn't.
But there was no blood in the car, they said.
Right, but still, the fact that he cleaned his car when he's in a frank panic to get to a job site, to get the job.
But there was still, he didn't clean the inside really, because there was still that dust that showed he didn't try to take apart a panel, right?
Right. But maybe he.
So the outside. So he was, that's what I'm saying. That Ford 350 is 4-wheel drive, right? So he could go off-road with that.
Does it have a truck bed?
I'm sure it does. But here's another thing. You know where
And
he's
that's where he could have transported her to
yeah.
where
But
he
the
spoke.
right. But the other thing is when he went for that bicycle, where he was there. Who's to say that somebody didn't meet him there and they transferred her to another vehicle that wouldn't be traced to him?
Who knows? But to me, it seems like this is a one-man plan.
But he knew he had tracking on his truck. He had to know he had tracking. It wouldn't be good to drive her to some burial site and be tracked.
Then this would say that then this would mean that he planned this meticulously for a long time and he had a conspiracy plan going on with other people involved. And that's huge. And yes, that's murder one for sure. But I'm not sure.
But didn't he? He probably did because it happened. Look, the weekend the girls were away. So he knew that they would be alone.
He coordinated that trip, didn't he?
And yeah, and then he knew they would be alone. He wouldn't have to worry about them coming in or out. So it's very possible, you know, he and we don't even know. Remember, photos. We've got to listen to Photos Doulos. This is it, because Photos Doulos had that other guy. Remember, he borrowed the other guy's truck.
Oh.
Yes, he had some other guy, and he was driving the guy's truck. He said to one of the laborers, I need your truck. You take my truck. And he took the laborer's truck. And that's where they think he had Jennifer's body and used that laborer's truck that wasn't being tracked. Mm-hmm. And it's very possible he said to one of the laborers that work with him, look, can you meet me here? You can take my truck somewhere. Okay, or just wait for me. I need to borrow your truck. We need to look at Photos Doulos because I think a lot of the same stuff happened here.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think definitely 2 points towards premeditation, 1 point towards potential assistance, or maybe unknowing assistance. The guy that you borrowed the truck from didn't realize that what was going on, right?
Right. Well, no, the guy that Photos did not realize, and he even said when they got the truck back, there were like stains inside, and he was wondering like, what the heck is going on here? Yeah, but remember, Jennifer's body had a lot of blood. Mm-hmm. Okay, because of all that blood that was in the garage. Yeah. But I think definitely, just think about all the kinds, okay, I don't want to stereotype people, but think of all the types of people around construction sites. There's all types of people. And there's, unfortunately, a lot of people that are addicted to drugs, too, around there. That'll do anything to make money. Okay? Hey, you know, anybody I can borrow their truck for? You know, I mean, there's like a plethora of people in a construction site that have trucks.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he has access to people who are desperate for any work, any money, and
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know.
It's interesting about that area when we did the search. The river, the road, you know, up to their house and beyond. There's a river, a creek, a lake. There's a bunch of random people camping, and it's not, in my opinion, like a campsite where, you know, you've got campers and families and they've got their equipment, their boats, their big camp, you know, it's not like that. It was people living out of their car, people in makeshift tents, homeless people living up and down that road and river and creek where they live, which could speak to that too. You could recruit someone from there. Hey, I'll give you a few bucks if you help me with this load. Dig a hole for me. I want to plant some trees. I don't know, but
because how stupid would he be? Okay, he's in Colorado with the Chris Watts case, right? He knows about he had to have seen the GPS on the trucks. He had to know his truck would be tracked if he used that truck to bring her to whatever burial place or whatever he did with her body, right?
Hence why they said that the vehicle was disconnected and reconnected, perhaps rebooted. But does everyone know that a vehicle tracks when you hit the brake lights, the overhead lights are on, when you move your feet, I guess if you move a few feet, but when you open the trunk, does it register all of that? I'm not sure if he knew that. I don't know. Maybe he did or he didn't, but it's interesting to the degree and detail.
But then why
Detail
did he
that
why did he
part.
leave it connected when he went to where the bike was?
Because, yeah, I mean,
See, that's
maybe
why I don't think that's why I don't think.
it was rebooted. Was it rebooted after? Was it a failed attempt to reboot it?
Yeah, there's either two things. Either he thought it was disconnected and it wasn't, or I don't know, what the heck would he leave that on near there?
Who knows? Maybe he did try to. It was a failed attempt. He didn't know how to get behind the dash, or I don't know. That's just interesting. Maybe he did that several times. We don't know, but they did point out that it happened at least once. So maybe he was doing it over and over. We don't know. But it seems that he was cognizant of that. Like you said, it's very interesting. When did that reboot happen or attempt to reboot? And how, was it before or after the bike? What is he doing over where the bike is dumped,
Right. And now Deborah said there's a lady knew it was weird and asked if they left keys and heavy equipment overnight. Oh, you're saying that the people left keys and heavy equipment? They usually don't do that. On another property, he had his heavy equipment on. Well, they checked that cat and they said they don't think that's involved. Why did lady hear his heavy equipment start in the middle of the night? Who heard his heavy equipment start in the middle of the night?
The neighbors over at the beach property.
Okay, they heard it starting in the middle of the night?
Yes.
But was that the cat? But wasn't that the cat they said is not involved?
No, that is his four-wheel Bobcat is like an off-road vehicle. But over at the beach property, the neighbor said they heard machinery, at an odd hour of the day, night. And that's when FBI went and they conducted a full search and they had the cadaver dogs.
Right.
And when we have time, when we were at the search, we were there when all of that went down. And the dynamic of the day and being sent to this search site and that search site, and then suddenly information comes in and we have to stop what we're doing because Barry's given permission to go to his property when we get to this certain area. And then the FBI is showing up and now they're conducting a search at the beach property. We were there when all that was going down, and that day is so interesting. One day we can just sit down and talk about it. I took pictures to document it. I've been discussing it with our team. There's some details, information, some very sketchy things that I've shared with people, was told that they would get it to FBI. Other people who wanted to go and go back to the areas that we documented to see if anything was up. Nothing has come to fruition. We didn't have any FBI contact us. We didn't have LA contact us. No follow-up from anybody. But we have the documentation. Don't ask me why we haven't.
Well, that's what that coworker of his alluded to when he said, I don't know why they didn't follow up on the lead I gave them. Well, maybe they did.
Well, we put it out there. We were told it was going to be passed on. We haven't heard anything. Don't ask me why we didn't bring it forward. It's because there were other people closer to the case that have the information and said that they would. Nonetheless, it's documented thoroughly on our part, and we're at a point where it's maybe, we should speak up if nothing's happening. But like this other guy, he's put in tips and nothing, you know, was done to his tip. Who knows? But it's interesting to take you guys through the day and the weird nuances of the search and the interesting things that were happening around in the background as it was going on. And mind you, we had team leaders who, when we brought the information to the team leader, we're on the phone and we're connected to a system where we can report things. But you go to your team leader and you say, this is something I find suspicious, I think we should report it. What I'm specifically talking about was presented to the team leader, and they said no need to report it because if there's a body there, then the animals would have dug it up because they can go 25 feet in. And so what we found was a mound that was in the shape of a grave, and there was decomposition mushrooms everywhere. It was covered up with trees and branches. And the team leader said, leave it be. If it was something, the animals would have dug it up. But then we learned that there might have been some kind of chlorine thing going on. So if that would deter an animal from digging it up.
Well, I mean, do you think...
We want someone to go and look and make sure, just to rule it out. But no one's followed up on it, and I guess it's going to be up to us to do it. But time has gone by. It's very interesting.
Wow. Crazy.
I'll send you some pictures just between us.
Okay.
But don't share them. You're going to lose it. You're not going to. And it ends up that this area is right over where the description of where the helmet was found up above and where the bike trails are over on the opposite side of 50.
Wow.
It's just falling into place and just making us very concerned. Just wishing that.
Were there any tracks or anything like said that machinery was there to dig that and stuff?
It seems to me like a perfect area to do something because it's where people go to go mountain biking, to go off-roading, four-wheeling. It's just off of a road up the hill to a dead end where you park, and it's not too far from the road. It's very inconspicuous, very, very inconspicuous, very close to the property, and it's right around the area where his cell phone pings, where now we're learning the helmet was left behind. And I'm not going to go into it too much, but where Barry ran some people off also, anyway, in the early stages. So that all, combined, is just a bunch of red flags that
yeah, definitely.
We think it would be good to have it rolled out.
Yeah.
But for another day, we'll go into it too much.
Yeah, wow.
But we've done something. She's not far, and that's not far. And he was in the area, and now the bike helmet is close by there too. So.
So crazy. I don't know. I didn't hear that Brenda Starr, that they think she was dismembered. I didn't hear that at all. Yeah, Liz, I think so too. Exactly. Tranquilizer gun, yeah. That is
pretty genius too.
It's interesting, yeah, to immobilize her completely.
Not have to worry about composition pieces.
Absolutely. Sandra says there has never been a perfect murder. Someone has to have some info. Yeah, someone must have seen something or knows something. Yeah. But there, there is. Well, the secret bank account could just be that she was getting her ducks in a row. Doesn't necessarily, it doesn't mean it's a Gone Girl situation.
So when you guys say Gone Girl, does that
That's a movie, and actually, I didn't even see the movie, and I want to see it, but apparently, it's everybody thinks this woman's been murdered, from what I understand, and at the end, it isn't. She created this whole illusion that she was murdered so she could disappear.
right? But okay, so real quick,
Mm-hmm.
let me just preface it. I don't think that at all, because she's leaving her children behind, who are her world, her sister, who she loves, her best friends.
Right, and she
Her
was not even with
family.
the guy, and like I'm saying,
Without,
yeah, if the guy was gone,
Right.
if he was gone too, I would say, yeah, they might be somewhere, right? But somebody will probably say, like, oh, she's there building a life for them. But who is she really going to leave her daughters behind, And somebody may say,
Yeah.
oh, she'll write to them, she'll tell them when she gets settled and whatever. But, there's always going to be someone that's going to say that because there's no body. And so when there's no body, it's hard to accept what happened because we are very concrete people.
Yeah, but people who are thinking that, let's do this, it's two-pronged. At this point, it's so deep, it's so bad, that if that's the case, Jeff would have said something by now. So clearly she would have been Gone Girl without even taking her love.
Right,
her,
right.
leaving
Her
kids
love,
behind.
her kids, or anything. So I think the secret bank account was just getting her ducks in a row because they always tell you that if you're going to plan on leaving, start getting your ducks in a row, meaning get your finances, start squirreling away some money.
Yeah, every grandmother tells us to do that, right? But make sure you put a little bit in a separate account in case something goes bad. It's like,
Right, yeah.
I don't
So
know,
if you're thinking of leaving and it's just start squirreling it away and get ready.
Yeah, but what about that 70K in the safe situation, guys? What do you think about that? Because from what I thought it was that he said it went missing after they conducted.
Yes, that's what he said. But
search
what if he used that to pay someone off?
But people, okay, that's a very, very good point. But right now, what I'm hearing, the chitter chatter is she took that 70K and she did Gone Girl. So do you guys think that that's possible?
It could be possible that
because
she put that 70K in that account, but if it's not in that account that they see for her, right, that she has, then the other thing I would think of is that he used that money, okay, to pay some people to help him with this plan, and then was going to get ready because thinking that they're going to say, where's the 70,000? Maybe he thought it could be traced back and he's going to then accuse them of taking it.
Yeah. Or one of those sketchy people who are camping around there stole it from him and kidnapped her.
Yeah, but there's no signs of like a forced entry or anything, right?
Yeah, it was just covering up
Yeah.
bases, but yeah.
Yeah.
But but at the end of the day, if we can rule out something, he didn't say that it was missing when she first went missing. He said it was missing after they conducted the search.
Right.
So that means.
Yeah, but he just may be lying. He just may be lying, and he took it already. But then, that's why I'm saying. And then he just said, "Hey, where's the 70,000 that was in this safe? Because it's gone." Yeah. And just so that if they came back to him, oh, did you pay someone off? What did you, well, where's the money? That money was gone. Again, or he could have made it look like maybe he was going to say she ran away. Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot. I don't know.
Late to use that theory because that was, a little late to say it was missing after the search warrant. If he had said that, oh my gosh, she's gone, 70K is missing, that might start stacking up to that theory. But do we know, was her purse, her ID, her passport left behind? Have we heard?
I don't know. I know her phone was gone. Right? They never found the phone. That's probably off of a canyon somewhere, and it's probably wherever her body is actually.
Mhm. Um, yeah. She went bike riding, but she didn't take her camel pack and all these
Hmm.
other things she usually takes. She apparently took her bike and rode it from the house, where she usually instead drives the car with her bike on the rack to the RV park, parks, and then goes to the trail. So um, she didn't take essential items that she usually takes with her when she goes on a bike ride. So is her
Yeah.
where's her ID? Where's her wedding ring? Do you go mountain biking with your wedding ring
And you
on?
know
Can
that
you?
Jennifer Doulos again, remember she was a runner? And
Oh yeah.
yes, see? And they made it look, he took her car. He took her
Oh,
car and drove her car somewhere and made it look like she was in some park running.
I have goosebumps right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities in that Doulos case, I'm telling you.
Oh my gosh.
Except I
That's
think the big difference is the method that he used. Fotis Doulos used a very bloody method. And that was there. And then he was also caught on surveillance cameras. So, they could see someone parking a car and then walking. But that car that he used was that other truck, not his. And he parked it away. So that's why I'm thinking there's another truck involved that's not his to transport her body.
what if it's one of the girls' vehicle?
I don't think so. I don't think he would do that. I think it would be so easy to get a truck from someone at a job site.
Yeah, I'm
What if he said, I
suspecting.
need to borrow your truck? Just like this. This is exactly what Dulo said. I need to borrow your truck for something. I've got to go get something. It won't fit in my car, my truck or something. I don't want it. There was some reason he had to borrow this guy's truck.
Okay, so if that's the case, Carolyn, then perhaps the individual has come forward, law enforcement knows about it, but we don't know about it. How did that all come together in the Doulos case? Was that
That,
something that
or
they,
maybe he stole the guy, like he had borrowed it without asking somebody's truck.
right? So in the Doulos case, the guy who
The
he
guy,
brought the,
the guy came forward. Well, I don't know if, yeah, I think they just got the description of it. It was actually like I think it was one of Photos Doulos' trucks at one time, and then he sold it or he gave it to this guy that worked with him. And then he asked him if he could borrow it, and he said, I'll clean it up, and I have to go back. But that's exactly. And then the guy either came forward or they found him and they questioned him, and he was cooperative when he did. And he said, I got it back, and there was a stain. I remember there was still a stain on the seat, and I thought, ew, how gross. And they found them bringing it to a car wash, I believe, too. Him or the girlfriend, or him and the girlfriend bringing that truck to a car wash.
so we haven't heard about anybody coming forward, but that could be some information that they're holding on to.
Yeah,
You know,
could be, yeah. That
forward.
was all in the, I believe it was all in the arrest affidavit that all came out. And then you heard about the grave that was dug, in the hunting camp. And if he's a hunter, he's got a lot of friends from that too. He probably belongs to a hunting camp.
Yes, but can I just double check? The arrest affidavit has not been released.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Exactly, that's how we wouldn't know if that has happened. So you could very well be onto something, Carolyn. That is a very good point.
Mm.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
probably had a lot of friends, between construction and hunting friends, and because like that's what Fotis Toulos, he became friends with that lawyer, and they both were going to get rid of their wives. And they hatched a plan together. It was crazy. And the Kent Mawini's wife, she was almost killed. She called and she saw the guy sneaking up her back deck, and she called 911. I don't know. Oh my gosh, that was just crazy. And they tried to lure her to a house, and the grave was already dug. It was crazy.
He got busted and killed himself, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The helper too, right? Or the helper's still in jail.
No, Kent Mulwiney is still facing stuff. I don't know if he never got out, but the girlfriend got out. And now she pretends like she doesn't understand English or something. She needs an interpreter all the time, and it's crazy.
Lordy.
But yeah. She was with him dumping stuff. Dumping the garbage that night.
Well, so suffice to say, this whole Gone Girl theory speculation, at this point today, with just what little bit more we know, are we starting to back away from that, or is there still?
I don't think she's gone. I don't think she's disappeared on her own. No, and somebody said maybe he borrowed the truck from the guy you mentioned yesterday. I think that guy would have been scared to death if that's. Well, you're saying that he borrowed it without him knowing? Maybe, but I think the guy would have still been, I don't know. Maybe he knows of someone. I would say that more. Maybe he knows that he was in cahoots with somebody out there, and he said that lead that I gave them. Could very well be. That guy that was on the news yesterday, who actually went to the fairgrounds to watch this, maybe that guy knows something more.
Mm-hmm.
And he did say, I wish they would have followed up on that lead I gave them. Well, maybe they did. That's what he said.
Okay, I'm going to send you some pictures real quick. Don't share them.
Okay.
And just say, yeah, Deb, let's talk about this later.
Mm-hmm.
Might be hard to differentiate what it is. Just look up close. Sent it to you.
Okay. You sent in Messenger?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we did a bunch of research on. Thing is the site that we found, and we brought attention to the team leader. They said, well, if there was a body there, animals would have dug it up. They can go 25 deep. We documented, took pictures. Later, there was these wild mushrooms growing all around it. And you can't really see in these photos, but it was like these veiny white type veins of, it ends up a type of mushroom. It's called a grave mushroom. We researched all of them. And it's very indicative to decomposition. And so what I just sent to you, you can see the big mushrooms, and if you zoom in, you can kind of see the veins of.
Now, what can I ask when this was that you found this? What month?
This was during the search with Andy.
Like right after this? Like right after she went missing? Or is it a month after or 2 months?
Well, let me look at my metadata, but no, it was when Andy was out in town, was out here from Indiana, and he had, the Andy's Army. We went out there. This is on August 10th, 2021.
Okay.
No, wait, hold on. It's saying 5:09 a.m., but that's because I'm in Brazil right now, so that would be a different time, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll have to look at the metadata.
Because the only reason I'm asking is because there's a little bit of growth of some little grasses and stuff around it. So I would say if it was right away, I would say it doesn't look fresh enough. But if it was a month or two out, yes, it could very well be.
Oh yeah, this is after the snow is melted, the rains have come, the grass is up.
Oh, so that's what I'm saying. This is sometime after she went missing.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Okay, I've got you. Oh, okay.
But,
yeah, I thought you were going to say this is a couple of days after, and I'm going to say it doesn't look fresh enough. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Could
it
be.
was covered with a bunch of sticks, a bunch of branches, but next to it, and it's in the picture next to the mushrooms, was this big stick and branch in the shape of a cross. and they're big stick. It's not like a tiny little stick. It's
Yeah, I
like
see it. Yeah.
a tree trunk, like a birch tree, a young birch tree trunk, and another big stick. So it was like a crisscross,
Right.
a big pile of tree trunks and branches piled on top of it. We moved it, and then there was this mound. And then we saw the mound, and I probably shouldn't stay here. We started to kick around a little bit. We saw the mushrooms, saw the veining, called didn't kick around like start digging, but like kick the dirt to see if it was,
Mm-hmm.
loose or not. It was compacted a bit, but then underneath like the crust of it, a nice big thick level of crust, was loose dirt. And we called the team leader over, and then that's where we were told, forget about it.
Hmm.
So just documented, but it haunted us. It haunted many of us on the team. And then later we can talk about the circumstances, because right after that, so we're in that area for a very short time, come across that, and suddenly we get the team leader gets a call over the radio, the walkie-talkie. Barry is going to let them go on to his property suddenly. It's like he knew, like they were saved in this area for last. They'd already done the parameters and everything else. Finally, we get to this area, the last area. And people always thought that Barry had someone, paying attention and seeing where people were searching. Once we got to this area, I mean, it was soon, almost immediately after we got there, we came across this in like 5-10 minutes. It was 10 of us. I can send you more pictures. You can see we do 10 of us in a long, 10 of us, 6 to 10 feet, 10 feet apart in a row. And we walk forward, and we're going up the hill, inch, foot by foot, inch by inch by inch. And you can see in the documented photos of how we conducted the search. We came across this, we found some other animal bones. It's right off of a road near the border of his property. And as we got to, just right after we had come across this, the team leader said, never mind, we're still going up the hill. Suddenly, over the walkie-talkie, we got to go, we have to stop what we're doing, because Barry's going to let Andy and the lead team go and search his property. And we're like, oh, okay. So then what do we do? Okay, we're done. We can't search here anymore. We're done. And well, we should continue to search. Nope, we're done. We're going to let you guys go. We're going to go back over, like a complete, absolute diversion of where we were, right after we got into where we were, which was saved to the end. It was just the timing, just the situation was just really odd, and just so many of us were just feeling that was really strange. How suddenly, Barry calls and Andy and says, okay, I'm okay with you guys coming over to search the property. It was like he was trying to lead us away from this area, and we had just happened to come across this, but team leader just didn't think. I'm really going into too much, but you and I can talk about it and we can decide.
But what about, okay, someone's saying that there's a lot of pig farms in this area. Did you see any pig farms near this area?
No. This is all land off of public road.
Okay.
In this inconspicuous spot, it's a pretty high traffic area. Like I said, bike trails, bikers, mountain bikers, off-roaders. I have pictures I can show you where a whole family of four-wheelers came down the road, and that's where they park their car and they load, their off-road vehicles on. This was just like 50 yards off of that road up in a hill, was just as inconspicuous as it could be. It would make a lot of sense if someone were to be found there, because if he was riding their bike, that's where people go. It's just very interesting. It's too much to go into detail today.
Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, but hopefully I don't know that they looked at it, but hopefully they did. But it is, yeah, it could definitely be something. I mean,
Oh, let me send you the one that's circled.
I'm just trying to look at this area in relation to these pig farms. And what about like this house? You're telling me they're talking about cameras in the garage, but didn't they have a security system with cameras all around the house? Living out there in the middle of nowhere like that?
You mean trail cameras?
No, I don't even mean trail cameras. I mean security cameras inside the house. You know what I mean? Like motion detectors, and they didn't have a secure. Let me see. There's like no security system in this house. That's odd, isn't it?
Well, it was odd that it wasn't connected with that for the DNA, extra DNA on it. That was weird. But
Right, on the cables, but yeah, it's just that, yeah, that's wacky. But then something was mentioned about the garage only, which is a little bit crazy.
Yeah, that's weird. Why have it connected in the garage and not everywhere else? Real quick, look at the picture I resent you in your messenger and see it better.
All right, hang on. Let me see. Come on. Hold on. Computer's being slow.
That was about 5 feet long.
Yeah, it's still okay. Hold on, there we go. Oops. Hold on. Come on. Okay, let me see. Yeah, it does look pretty suspect. Did anybody ever go back to see if anybody like looked at it or?
No, nope. I just asked certain people, I'll talk to you offline, about letting FBI know or CBI know, and they said they would. Didn't hear back. Other folks that we have spoken with, very, very few, who helped work on the research of the mushrooms, know about this, and they want to go back there, but they haven't been able to, and it'll all make much more sense because you know these people. Once I tell you the whole story, and you guys don't, I hate to seem like, secretive, but just on air, I need to just give Molly Carolyn an opportunity to just listen and see if this is what she wants to have on the program. But we have shared it with people, not just random people, important people who have a connection in one way or another, not necessarily with the murder of the case, but covering the case or knowing Suzanne, that know about this, who want to investigate it more. It's just one of those things that we dove into it and we just kept getting, a brick wall in front of us. Like it started with the team leader, no, it's nothing. And then it was, if they would have found her already. Everyone thinks she's at the beach, or there's just so many reasons not to follow through with it. And I think it's just time to just rule it out.
Right, yeah.
Today, this is very, very close to the area described where the helmet was found. That's just...
Well, yeah, strange. Wow. That is strange. What did you say, Alley Cattails? You asked Lauren something? Let me see. Lauren just said they showed the Google map of the RTD bus station to show proximity to Broomfield Hotel, but they didn't have video so far that they know of. Okay. That she knows of, right? Because they might be keeping that. We don't know. I mean, she just knows what they showed in court, right? Yeah. Thanks, Sally. Um, let's see.
The proof of life photo was interesting. We don't know what that photo is. Folks in court were able to see it, but no one described it other than she was sunbathing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, the timing of that and how the prosecution is already, even here in preliminary, saying this is the time frame in which we believe she was murdered. That's pretty big. And the defense really didn't do much today. They just kind of dragged on, rambled on today and took an extra hour and really got us nowhere.
I wonder why they're waiting so long to do the next 2 days. Is that just because of the court schedule? They couldn't get 4 days in a row, or
I believe so.
I mean, that's I don't know, kind of strange.
That's how we do it bit by bit. Maybe it's strategic. I don't know. You learn a little bit in preliminary. You want to schedule it a few days the next week over to give margin for error in order to get your ducks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This is not cross-examination time. This is, evidence, presentation.
Right, yeah.
It's maybe combined. Court's docket's filled up, and it benefits all parties to have a little bit of break in between.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not legal at all.
Yeah. It's just so crazy. I just want to see something if I can find something over here, but I don't know. I just there's just more. It just brings up more questions. The more you found out, you want to find out, but you just more questions. Huh. Let me see here. Okay, let me see. Okay. So yeah, no, nothing there. What do you guys think in the chat? You guys have any? They should check every inch of those hills and forest areas, looking for any disturbed areas. But now it's already, a long time out, so I should actual.
You guys, you did hear about how Barry was running people off of areas, right?
He was running people off of where?
Of searchers, people who were searching in the beginning. Like, for example, Tyson. He didn't run Tyson off, but other people came to search.
Yeah.
He was not comfortable or happy with people conducting searches around there. And it's not his property. It's, again, it's open property. There's campers out there. Who is he to say who can search anywhere? And then what about that area that Tyson pointed out, where Barry was acting strange and he just laid on the ground once he got up there. It just seemed like a huge distraction. I think red herring. But Barry was out there and he was walking about and talking to people and running people off and being on the phone. And people who said to us heard the phone ringing, and then what's this phone ringing? We're in the middle of nowhere. And then out from the woods comes Barry Morphew, and he's, giving them a stink eye and scaring them off. But then when Andy comes out to do the search, Barry doesn't participate, does nothing.
Right, yeah.
It's very sketchy.
Just trying to see if I say anything about that, but yeah. I wish they'd unseal the affidavit. Maybe they will after, but I'm sure they're not going to do it until after the 4 days.
Things will click then.
Yeah, you think they cleared Jeff, but he could have hired someone in saying that. Too much circumstantial evidence. We have not seen it all.
Who says that?
Sandra Kay.
Sandra Kay, Jeff has been cleared, guys.
Basement guy was in reference to Barry's talk with his friend Holly and the potential abduction, holding her for sex, etc., Alley Cattail says, and the balls comments. I see. Okay. And Jeff was, he was building that dock or something, right? But, don't you think it's funny that he only texted her one time after that? I mean, even if he found out she was missing, but then I guess he didn't want to send anything because he didn't know maybe her phone was destroyed and didn't want any messages coming.
He didn't want to bring any attention to himself and all the drama and repercussions that come from his infidelity with her.
Right.
Doesn't mean anything to her.
Right, but he probably, I don't know, it seems like he wasn't as serious as he let off to be. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, I think maybe he was stringing her along.
Right, I mean, it is what it is, but, it's price of tea of China, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The DA is not going to go after Barry if there's even an inch of possibility that Jeff had something to do with that. That's just so far. The more that we take time and we try to figure that out and focus on that, we're just duplicating efforts. Let law enforcement's already done that. FBI, all of them have already taken care of that. Let it go. That's not going to be where the benefit of the doubt is.
Yeah.
Where the benefit of doubt is going to be in the technology discussions and them having to really explain well in court to jurors to understand the cell phone pinging, the what's the term for the vehicle, the technology part of the vehicle. What was the other thing?
What's the matter, Sandra?
I'm trying to think what was the other.
Sandra's got a bunch of weird emojis.
Oh, the daughter who had said to Suzanne, suggested that she file for divorce and or get a restraining order, whether that was her daughter who said get a restraining order or her friend, but in the report it said her friend Sheila said Macy suggested to Suzanne about getting an attorney and possibly a restraining order. Did you see what I sent you?
You sent me something else?
The report this morning?
Yes, that I saw. Yes, I did.
Can you explain that to everyone?
Okay, yeah, there was let me get at it. Please tell her that I realize that Jeff has been cleared and I was making a point about something that someone said. Okay. That's what Sandra Kay said.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Sandra, I understand. We were in agreement last night. Yeah, people keep bringing that up, don't they?
Oh, Sandra's mad at me. Okay, let me go back here to this. Come on. All right, so let's see. It was right over here. So this was, where were we? Oh, so it said, Sheila and Suzanne Morphew talked about how Suzanne's youngest daughter, Macy, encouraged her to get a divorce and said that Suzanne should get a restraining order against Barry if she needed. Okay. So, all right.
So it doesn't really speak to who said, was it?
Well, maybe because, but see, then Suzanne, okay, that makes it sound like Suzanne is saying, I can't get a divorce because he'll do something to me. And she's saying, you should get a divorce and you can get a restraining order to protect yourself, right? But
What did Macy suggest?
it says Sheila. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me read this again. Sheila and Suzanne talked about how Suzanne's youngest, Macy, encouraged her to get a divorce and said that Suzanne could get a restraining order against Barry if she needed.
So at the minimum, Macy knows that there's trouble in paradise.
Well, that's what I mean. But then she wasn't telling Macy, yes, I want to leave your father, but it's not biblical, right? So it makes it sound like she was telling Macy, I need to leave your father, but I'm afraid he might do something.
Yeah, and that seems kind of huge.
Yeah, it's a big discrepancy there. Yeah, that's interesting there. Was he violent towards her? They don't have any police reports or anything, right, that he was ever beat her up, or there's no police reports about that, right?
No,
Calls.
just her saying physical and mental abuse, which was interesting because she didn't go into describe. She described the mental abuse, the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, but she didn't describe any of the physical abuse, but she did cling to it. You guys remember?
Right. Well, that he pushed her or something, and then he put the gun to his head, pushed her in a closet, right, and then put the gun to his head.
Yeah, I find that physical abuse, mental terrorism, and physical abuse.
Right.
Don't you guys agree?
Sure.
Here.
Yeah. I do. Let's see, Jen. Oh, you were stranded. Let me see what Macy may have thought that Barry would never do anything like that to Suzanne. But I guess, and then the boyfriend knew of problems as well. Maybe the daughter, by mistake, told Barry that Suzanne was getting rid of him.
Yeah, she said to him a few days before, what day was that?
That he was with Matt, but wasn't that the other daughter, Mel? What was it? What is the other daughter's name? It's Macy and Mallory, or?
Yeah, Mallory.
So she said, oh, he's with her. That's what she mentioned to Sheila or something. He's probably turning on his, charm or something.
Yeah.
Carolyn, make a list of questions for our virtual whiteboard that we can let you know when someone gets clarification, like homework.
Yeah, timeline and all that.
I know. We need a team to work on this. Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else have any questions, comments?
I have a problem. I lost my hand.
Let's see.
I just have
Shared Google Docs. Yeah, we'll have to get something together, Allie Cattails, because I was just thinking about the same thing tonight, that we need like a little committee as this stuff is released to get it together and get the timeline and everything, get all these numbers plotted out and was she still now what kind of cancer did she have? Do you know?
It was ovarian cancer.
Really?
I'm not sure, don't quote me, but we can Google it.
Does anybody know what kind of cancer she had? And she was just diagnosed again? And getting treatment on that's another thing, because didn't they say that Jeff said good luck on your treatment?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Did you drink it?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm gonna put the phone here and read it to you real quick. Sorry.
Okay, but didn't Jeff just say good luck on your treatment? And if he did, then why would she go away if she cared about her health? And it's weird because I know that someone will say maybe she was going to another country to get treatment. But why wouldn't she tell?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't she
After
tell
all-
her family? That would be the perfect excuse for her to get away from Barry, wouldn't it? For a while?
Yeah, that would be a perfect excuse for Barry to say, oh, maybe she went off to get treatment and we just don't know where she is. She wanted her time alone. He could have stalled the case.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was her second bout of what? Hold on, I missed that. Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, she said. Okay. Is it Hodgkin's or non-Hodgkin's, Ellie? It sounds more like non-Hodgkin's because Hodgkin's has a very, very high cure rate. Sounds like it might be non-Hodgkin's.
Are you talking Allie?
No. Somebody else. The family says they celebrated her last cancer treatment on October 1st, 2019. Yeah, but Jeff said something about her new treatments.
Hello. Ethan's over here to say hello too, right, Ethan? Oi. My nuts.
No, it's Hodgkin's? That's weird. That is weird.
Hodgkin's lymphoma, so in her lymph nodes.
Yeah, but that's where I kind of think it's not. Okay, it's usually it's non-Hodgkin's, I would say, but they're saying Hodgkin's. Let me see something. I have to Google it myself.
That's the one.
I hope if Ellie is listening that they give you a call about this situation at the search that day.
Oh yeah, she had non-Hodgkin's. I didn't think it was Hodgkin's. See, it says here on Fox she overcame Hodgkin's, but on another thing it says they tied the knot in 1994 and she was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Okay, and then there's another one says diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and let me see. Denver says, see, the reason I say this is because Hodgkin's, if it's treated successfully, it's like it's up in the 90s success rate. And my son had it, and I don't know what, but it's very rare, knock on wood, that it ever comes back if it's treated successfully. They don't even want to call it cancer. I know our radiologist wanted us just to call it Hodgkin's disease. So I think she probably had non-Hodgkin's because that does come back for people sometimes. So I don't know. I think it's reported as both, and a lot of people get them mixed up. That's why the whole Curb Your Enthusiasm, they go, but he had the good Hodgkin's, because one's like the good Hodgkin's and one's the bad Hodgkin's. That's, it's like a little joke about it, but yeah, it's
What are the symptoms and
well, it all depends. It's usually for Hodgkin's, like my son, he just suddenly had a lymph node that in his neck that was up. But my son had a very strange case because he had it so early. Everything was non-conclusive, and they said it didn't even reach like a stage or anything of this. He had just like, it was, he was really, really lucky. But yeah, like they said, if you have to get something like this, the Hodgkin's lymphoma, and that stage, not even a stage. It was like whatever he had was the best, the absolute best you could have if you had to have something like that. But I've heard many times, say here, Suzanne, here's another one with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And then again, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma here. And another one, non-Hodgkin's. So I think, I'm thinking it was non-Hodgkin's. That's what I'm thinking. Just.
Okay. And then let's not belabor the Jeff thing, but it is a bit insensitive of him to not have followed through and reported. And if it was Mother's Day and he said, it's going to be a hard time because she lost her mom through Mother's Day. He wrote her, he didn't hear back from her, and then she goes missing. He never writes her back. Very insensitive. All of that. But we tried to figure out, is he still with his wife? We couldn't figure that out, but we did get documentation that she deleted and removed her Facebook page. She's getting off of social media. She actually, it was active yesterday, and last night, after everything, she became inactive.
Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah, just not to have, because people will go there, and say things, and ask questions, and oh, did you know this? Did you know that? And I guess she just didn't want to be dealing with that.
Yeah, she might have underestimated how prolific this case is to so many around the world. But I just thought I'd just put it in and we'll move on from him. But that was interesting. So. Yeah, she was going through a really hard time with that illness, and she really needed someone that she could count on and rely upon and feel good and special and beautiful about herself. And she wasn't getting that from Barry. And
Right.
That's not to justify her actions, but I think we could all understand that marriage was probably irreparable for a long time. And she, for whatever reason, we're beginning to learn. In my opinion, she had reason to be scared not to divorce him because he was going to blow his head off. He said he put the gun to his head. She had reason to not move forward. But a few days before all this went down, she did say to him, and it was documented, specifically today, that she said, I'm done. I'm done with this. Just can't we figure a way to do this amicably? Civilly was the word. That was an indicator to Barry. This is, she's serious.
Right. And I just, they can't find any. It's funny. He was able, if he was having an affair, Barry, he covered his tracks pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, they found that website, but he could say, there was a time at my Mommy Ramblings email, which was so strange. I was being hit with that Ashley Madison website, and I kept thinking, how stupid. They're sending this to a mommy, Carolyn at mommyramblings.org, and they keep saying, if you want to cheat on your wife, it was like every other day. He could easily say, something was in the email, and I clicked on it, and I didn't know what it is. They didn't tie him yet to actually doing something, right? So
not necessarily, because what you're saying happened sounds like you were spammed, which happens to a lot of us. I've been spammed too.
But he had an account. I realized he had an account. And then what was that thing about that jihad celebrity thing? What was that?
What is that? So is porn, or is it, what's jihad have to do with?
It was an Islamic extremist or something.
But naked celebrities by Islamic extremists? That's weird. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
And I mean, they really didn't explain it. Even when they went off, if you went off on the thread, and some people were like, "What is this? I don't get it." She really didn't explain it much. So it sounds like it's some kind of a porn site or something, or like naked. I don't know. It's just weird.
You want to Google it while we're together, and then we can just all be your source to back you up and be like, no, this was the search had to do with us trying to figure out what the heck it is.
Oh my gosh. I think that, in there they said it was some kind of a porn site. So I'll take their word for it. But I think someone did Google it and they said, ew, or something like that. So I'm like, that's good for me.
But porn, or is it just naked celebrity? Because I just read, or we just heard it was naked celebrity.
Let me ask Allie Cattails. She probably knows. Allie Cattails, do you know what that was? She says, I think they got silenced by the judge on that. Let me see. Hi, Paradise. Yes, the Celebrity Jihad was a website where the leaked nudes from celebrity phones came out a couple of years ago. Oh, so they were just photos of naked celebrities that were hacked from their phones? Is that what you're saying?
So, yeah.
Oh, it wasn't technically a porn site, I guess. It's just...
So they're like terrorists. They hack you.
Oh, I
get your
see. I see.
cloud.
Okay. Gotcha. Lauren said
That's
she
why
didn't
this is
even know.
jihad. They're not actually terrorists that we deal with, in the world.
Oh, I got
hacking
it.
your
Yeah, I got it. Yep.
So sketchy. But why would he? That just speaks volumes to his.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know the context of that, like how he accessed it, because we don't know yet, but how that was. But interesting, though.
Perhaps through that, he was trying to learn how he could hack Suzanne's phone to get into her cloud and find, because there's a way within your cloud and Google Photos that when you delete a photo, it's not deleted.
Right.
It goes into the trash bin.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually go and retrieve or see someone's deleted photos.
Right.
If
Yeah.
they know how to permanently delete them.
Right. Yeah.
And so perhaps that website, that's how they obtained that information. And maybe that was a part of his research, because he was trying to get her phone in Mexico, trying to figure out what she's up to.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, who knows? That's just a far reach to try to connect the dots. But
Yeah. Interesting. So yeah, there'll be days to talk until this is till it's on again, because there's a lot of time, 2 weeks, and I don't know. We'll see what comes out and if anything else leaks out or whatever. But we'll see what happens. I wonder what I would like to hear more about. Like, the only one I heard about his reaction, she said that he sat straight up in his chair when someone said Ashley Madison.
Yeah.
So maybe he was like, "Oh gosh, they found that,"
And there were a lot of references to him not keeping his mask on. So, when you have your mask on and you're breathing heavy,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of steam up and hard to breathe more. And he kept putting his
Down. Yeah,
his
he kept
nose.
uncovering his nose. Yeah, they said.
Things were kind of getting a bit heated.
Yeah, I
for
guess
him,
so. Yeah.
perhaps,
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Oh, I hear ya. Wow. So that was a good discussion. It'll definitely be an interesting another 2 days to see what they have. With the 5 other witnesses still that they wanted to call. It was 8 witnesses.
Yeah.
To testify.
But didn't you find it interesting that prosecution said we have more witnesses, running out of time, we don't think we have enough time? Was it a typo on the recorder to say when they said, but so far it's been the meat and the potatoes from our side, or was it meant to say so far we haven't got to the meat and potatoes?
Yeah, I don't know. If this is their meat, I wouldn't want to think that this is just the meat and potatoes, because I think they need something more.
Yeah. Raise your hand if you can think more.
Yeah.
There,
Everybody's saying that. Everybody's saying like it's not, like it's too scary now. He needs something, definitely needs something more. And that's why I'm saying I think they've got stuff in the garbage and stuff, yeah. Good night, Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer.
Allie says they haven't gotten to it yet.
Oh, okay.
That's what she's saying. And she's in Colorado too, you know. So let's see, hopefully she's
Hey,
right.
guys, did you hear about how they might not broadcast the WebEx from the community center because apparently there weren't many people using the community center today?
You know, it looked really empty when they showed his coworker. I couldn't believe how empty it was.
Yeah, I mean, isn't everyone waiting in line to get a seat? But
The-
everyone went yesterday but didn't come today.
I thought it would be packed.
Yeah, if I was there, I would be there, you know. And I know
Yeah,
other
but
people have people, but yeah, that's
it
interesting.
looked really empty. Really empty. So they said they might not even use it next time?
Yes, apparently they're contemplating perhaps like
The expense first, yeah, but the turnout, I guess, yeah. I was looking if she was on. Oh, Kubi, she was on earlier today. I think that she's back to probably her job or something, and her hours are probably all a little wonky, John. I think so. I think that's what it is. The investigators have not found any evidence that he has a girlfriend. Right, exactly, Heartmaid-wise. That's what is said. But today they did mention an Ashley Madison account. They did mention that jihad, whatever thing. Prosecution says they still have witnesses to call, and they only have 3 been called. He believes those 3 are the meat and potatoes for this hearing, but still would like to call the witnesses. So that's our meat and potatoes. Oh boy.
oh, but then let's think about this. It is kind of meaty because this today combined with what we already know, which is contradicting statements made by Barry Morphew, combined already with law enforcement and his statements and so on, that tells us he's not telling the truth. He's changed his story. He's contradicted himself. He's placed himself here. He wasn't there. He said he was working at a job site, but he was at like so many things aren't adding up. And then now you compile it with what we know and have
Yeah.
learned.
And remember the guy that went to the hotel room after him, the one that said it smelled like bleach? The
I heard
coworker.
about that.
Yeah, the one that he said that he sent him there because he was supposed to work on this site, and he went into Barry's room and he was saying all that stuff. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I guess I
They
mean,
didn't
did he
yet.
borrow his truck at all? Was he the guy? You know, I don't know. Who knows? And what were the hand tools for that the guys were going to pick up?
Apparently, I think it was the same person or the same crew that said they were insignificant, unrelated to the job at task, that would not be used to do the job that they needed to do, which is random tools
Right.
left behind, looking back after the fact. It's like he bolted, he left all these tools that we have no use for. We couldn't get the job done. There was no job, we not even allowed to conduct the work that day. He wrangled everybody up to get down here quick. I need you. And not even allowed to do the work that day. And leaves behind, insignificant ancillary tools that just, for me, in my opinion, speaks to piss poor, last minute, cover your ass alibi planning.
Yeah, and also the south side of the hotel that he parked at had no cameras, so we don't know what happened out there.
Ooh.
Yeah. Interesting. Good night, nurse of all trades. I don't think he did, Hop and Holly. I really don't. I don't think he did dismember her because that would be very, very bloody.
Same piece watched, and there's testimony or statements that say that he listens to the programs, the true crime programs, that he's aware, cognizant enough to know, learned, overheard, somehow absorbed that, decomposition can be detected in many ways. Blood trace analysis can be picked up. He perhaps was smart enough or savvy enough to know and say, I've got to be careful, make sure there's none of that. And then that's where we hear about this tranquilizer cap and how, I don't want to say genius because that's the wrong word, but if you're trying to commit the perfect crime, that is a pretty smart way to transport a human being in a vehicle to dispose of them and then remove it from your home, property connection to you, and put it somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
Good night, Sharon.
Or nearby, but in the woods, or have to dump it, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
well, I don't know.
that takes a lot.
Yeah, I know. We'll have to see what happens, and maybe we can get a little research group together to dig on some of this stuff, because I think that's probably what we need to do. And get to get some things together. So I'll work on that and see and contact guys and see what we can do, because it's a lot to keep track of. And then there's so many. I just can't believe the similarities between the Dulos case. And I do want to look into that whole truck thing again and see how that went down. Because it's been a little time that's gone by since the last time we covered that, and just refresh myself with how they, how that happened with the truck. Because he was definitely sure that he didn't want to, use his truck or have his truck. And I just think this guy would be a little smarter than that, than to, if he knew about his truck. I don't know. I just think he would. But
yeah, he would have heard about the case.
I just, oh boy. So, but thanks for coming on, Deb. And I will get back to you, and we can see if we can research some more stuff together. But with this, and see, because we got some good people in here, and some people that are over there too now, and put this together.
Yes, prayers and justice for Suzanne.
Yes, absolutely. And and then it was, she left that spy pen, and somebody said, well, how did she find out? Well, it had to have been the friend that told, right? Because they would be checking pens probably, right? Would they? Let me check this pen, that pen. So I bet it was that friend that bought it for her that said, I bought her a spy pen.
Yeah, it was. That's how it went down.
Right, yeah. But, that is something now, because I think a lot of people, because I did put a link to like a spy pen like that, because people were asking about it in the video description. But I bet you a lot of people are going to buy those spy pens now.
Yeah, you should put a link in, then everybody buys through.
I did. I put a link in so they could look at it. But I'm just thinking to myself, because there were so many people in here going, oh my gosh, I didn't know that it could, record so much audio. And that's crazy. But yeah, that's just nuts. But I haven't heard, but I haven't been in Slack or anywhere, Sandra, to hear. Did anybody hear from Mimi? Tammy? Oh, is Tammy here? Ask Tammy about Mimi. I'm sure she knows. What's up with Mimi, Tammy? Let's see what's up with Mimi. Yeah, but that'll be interesting. So, yeah, and everybody says, Deb, we appreciate you.
Well, thank you, guys. I'll let you go. I'm just gonna hang up, and then
I'm gonna go myself pretty soon here, because I'm falling. I've come on early now, and I'm going to sleep early since I haven't been swimming much this summer because the weather's been crappy. But this week has been nice, and it's tiring me out because I swam for a long time tonight. So I'm feeling tired. Yeah.
That's good for you. Keep it up.
Yeah, definitely. All right. You have a good night, Deb, and I will talk to you very soon.
My dear, love you all.
All right. Love you too. Bye-bye. And
Bye.
let's see. Mimi's resting. Okay, that's good. That's good. All right. I'm going to probably kick off now because I am like, my eyes are closing. So I will talk to you guys later. But if you'd like to be, to do some research for this case, like so we can get a little research group going, maybe in Slack or something, let me know. And it'll help us put together a timeline and to get some of this information organized. You know, let me know if you would like to do that. So, all right, just send me an email and I'll get to them soon, all right? You had them all over the house, the spy pens, Ann Rose? You've got to, you should live your life, really, that everywhere you go, there's a spy pen somewhere watching you. Really. We're in that day and age, guys. All right? Anyway, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Everybody have a really good night. And I'll see you, all right? Love you. Goodbye. God bless. Prayers for all that need them. Thank you so much to our moderators. And thanks to everybody. Good night. Bye-bye.